Today, we are giving our final thoughts about Mario Kart World. It is exactly 2 weeks until Switch 2 comes out with Mario Kart World, so we gotta wrap our heads around everything.
Where does the time go?
I know.
We're almost there. But that means it's time to get down to business.
Yes.
And the business is talking about literally everything we know about this game and deciding how we feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. After the Mario Kart World Direct, I kind of tuned out on this game a little bit. It's all right, well, this is what we're going to know, and eventually I'll be playing it. But going through and again, it's hard to find. It's not all in one place. But piecing it all together, I was like, oh, there's some things to talk about here.
Yeah, exactly. Exact same thing happened to me. I must have gotten kind of distracted by other things that were happening around Switch 2. We just did a video about some of the third-party games. So I did sort of put this game in the back of my mind. I've already, gotten my Mario Kart bundle. I'll play
You're already over it.
I'm not over it.
I basically beat it in my mind. I'm moving on.
I beat it in my mind, so I'm moving on. That's next
I unlocked Gold Mario.
In my mind.
I perfected every 200
200cc mirror mode in my mind has happened.
That.
Yes, in my subconsciousness,
I've
already beaten this game.
We're moving on.
But yeah, I did sort of check out of this game, but you're right. Nintendo has done this thing again where they slowly drip fed out some bits and pieces of information after the Mario Kart Direct. And so now it's okay, let's catch up on everything. Let's make sure we know everything there is to know going into it. And then we got some big questions to ask ourselves as well. Even though we've beaten this game in our minds, we still have some big questions to ask ourselves.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's, before we get to that, let's speed run through some things that are either on our YouTube channel or coming soon. Because wow, there is a lot.
Phew.
We, last week, visited the Nintendo San Francisco store for opening day.
We did.
Store is amazing. Surpassed
so cool.
my expectations.
Yeah.
Watch the full tour. We're showing off basically every single item that is in there. We went shopping.
We shopped.
Spent a lot of money.
Sure did.
But I came out feeling happy.
It's great. It's so close to us too. So now we can look forward to lots of other fun events that they might do there. Are they going to do something cool for Switch 2? We'll see. If so, we'll be there. And we can show it to you guys because it's very convenient to where we are.
Did you see they just announced a 4th store for Japan?
In Fukuoka,
or in your favorite film, Lost in Translation, Fukuoka?
Fukuoka.
How many stores will the rest of the world get before Europe gets anything?
We have
I feel so bad for
some
Europe.
lovely European Patreon community members that are not another Japanese store.
What does it take?
It's their 4th
for these world-class cities in Europe.
Paris.
To get anything.
London.
What will it take? Oh my gosh.
So sad.
That's ridiculous.
No.
We do have more on the store in this month's Super Kit and Krysta, which we just put the finishing touches on. So that has our trip to PAX. That has more from the Nintendo San Francisco store. But most importantly, the celebration of your birthday. Where you got
things happen.
You got a very fun, unexpected present.
I did.
That, as Nintendo would be very happy, put a smile on your face.
It was delight. I was delighted.
Wonderful.
I was surprised and delighted.
Great.
By this present.
As they say, please look forward to it.
Yes.
As you mentioned, our Switch 2 third-party game guide is out now.
You did a lot of work on it, a lot.
This is now I'm starting to get annoyed because, again, why can't all this information be easily accessible? Because I was doing research.
You had to do deep research on this video.
So, I'm just trying to give the good people a sense of what are these games? What can you do in these games? And there's a lot of games that's we're supporting the mouse. But then if you try and find, what exactly can you do with this mouse?
No information.
Absolutely nothing.
It's you can't ask anyone a follow-up question.
No follow-up questions allowed.
About anything. It's yes, if you don't have any follow-up questions, we're on Switch 2 and this game is great. It's
oh my
is
gosh.
It though? Yeah, there's a lot of little things too. It's is this a physical only, digital only, game key card? Is it, does it have any Switch 2 specific functionality?
There's a lot of games coming out. So we did every game that's coming out on June 5th. There are a lot. So it's this is important information for people to have. And you would think oh yes, we're going to be a part of this big launch that should be extremely successful.
And important
Let's get some information out about our game so people might be interested in buying it. But no.
No, not at all.
In many cases,
Just like nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So shout out to like the CD projects of the world who have
Right.
been really like pushing new information and people getting excited for that. But hopefully you find something in there that you didn't know much about because
You did the yeoman's work,
there's a lot
as
that's
Reggie would
a
say.
little under the radar right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, you did the work of consolidating all of that information. We put it into one video. That video is time-stamped with every single game that comes out from a third party on June 5th, so you can look in the description, pick and choose the games that you want to learn more about, making sure that it is something that's worth your money and time. So again, hopefully it's very helpful. Please go watch it because I think you did like hours and hours of work over the weekend on this video. So yes.
It's valuable information.
It is valuable information. Believe it or not, you might want to know this kind of stuff.
And then many years ago, when we worked at a company called Nintendo, we did something called Mario Kart Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Or as you would say, Mayhem.
Mayhem.
And we are once again in the month of May.
And the ham is here.
And a Mario Kart game is imminent. So we are recreating Mario Kart Mayhem with our Patreon exclusive gameplay videos. We just recorded one yesterday for Super Mario Kart.
Where it all started.
The original.
Yeah.
And that's going to be out soon. And then we're going to do one more on a TBD other game that we still need to duke it out about what it's going to be.
Yes, we've been arguing about
you
which
have
one.
You have a pet game that you want to do. I have a
pet game.
And guess what? Neither of those are Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Oh.
I'll just tell you now.
Yeah, I never played Mario Kart Super Circuit. We were on the plane on the way back from PAX, and you saw me poking around the NSO, the Game Boy NSO.
I had some unfortunate news for you.
You were like, try this game. It's the worst Mario Kart ever.
You're going to find out why in about 10 seconds.
And I was like, you're lying. It's going to be fun. And then 10 seconds later, I was like, this is garbage. What is this?
My
gosh. I was like, like swerving all around.
Fishtailing all around.
Yeah, I was giving myself like motion sickness on the plane playing Mario Kart Super Circuit. It was the worst Mario Kart ever. Anyhow, we will have a second Mario Kart game play video. We will fight it out to the end to see which Mario Kart we're going to be playing.
Yes,
but
one
it
more.
is very fun to look back at the long, beautiful history of Mario Kart and just get like hyped for this new one.
And if that was not enough Mario Kart, at one point in this podcast, we were going to do an additional Nintendo story time.
Yeah.
The long-awaited return of Nintendo story. We've had so many other things to talk about. We haven't
wanted to do
had a
this
good place to
badly.
fit one in, but we had a great Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS in 2011 story time. And we were looking at the outline for this episode. It's like, oh, we can't do this.
This is going to be a 4-hour podcast if we did this.
We have the 2-hour rule, which is our brains turn to jello after 2 hours, and we cannot talk anymore.
We will become puddles of people.
Yes, so we're going to spin that off and make that its own thing.
Yes.
And that'll be coming out soon. And this is a really interesting story that you were much more involved in than I was, so I'm excited to hear you tell it.
It's so cool because as we were preparing for that story time, we were looking back at, all of the videos from this Mario Kart 7 thing that we did, and I was like remembering very clearly, weirdly,
For you.
what it all had transpired during this, and it was just it's such a cool, interesting thing that I got a chance to work on, and it was just an amazing.
So here's 3 hints.
Oh, hints
that this story includes: a haunted hotel.
Yes.
Exhibit.
Yes.
What's the third thing? What's the city in
West Covina, California?
Piece those 3 things together, and you can understand what this is about.
The zaniness of the story time. Yeah,
Right.
what a cool thing to have to put in my memory bank, though. It's amazing.
Wow.
All right.
And that's not enough. There's one more thing that's not even on the list. Our spoiler cast for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We're recording that on Friday. Hopefully.
Marching towards the end of the game
Hopefully you can do it. You're not there yet.
You beat it?
I beat it. We'll talk about it. Not in a spoiler capacity.
No.
Vaguely, as
Very
vaguely as
vaguely,
possible
yes.
in the games we're playing.
Oh,
But this is going to
boy.
be a doozy.
This is going to be...
This is going to be a doozy.
I was just saying that we are going to have to prepare a little bit differently for the spoiler cast than normal.
Well, how about you beat the game first?
No,
that's
step one.
That's the kind of preparation I'd like to see you do.
Step 1, beat the game. I told you. You were like, let's record it earlier in the week. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be done. And I didn't want to do that thing again where I have to rush and then pull
Because you
an
don't actually
all-nighter.
like games?
I love games, but I have a life. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be able to finish in time. So I'm glad that we have it slated for later this week.
I see.
I don't have to rush now. I can,
You set me straight once again.
I
Thank
really
you.
did.
Thank
You're
you
really,
so much.
you're really out to get me.
We have to move on.
Sabotage.
one moment we'll be talking about Mario Kart World, but first we have our great sponsor, Factor. Thank you, Factor, to shout out. We are now getting into the warmer months.
Thank goodness.
Summer is nearly here, and you know what I say? Don't bother being cooped up in a kitchen, cooking away on some dinner that's going to take forever, that's going to cost a ton of money. No, get these Factor meals that are ready in 2 minutes and are so good.
They're so good and so quick, and they're very healthy. They are menu items that are curated by actual nutritionists, and you have 45 weekly menu options to choose from to fit your eating goals. And they have tons of things to choose from. You can be calorie smart, you can be protein plus, you can be keto, and so much more. But most importantly, they taste really good. Like, I've tried almost all of these different kinds of meals, like whether it's calorie plus or there's like a veggie one that I really like or a protein one that I've tried before. All of them are delicious, and that's the most important part.
Something I like about these, they're not frozen. There's something about when you put something in the freezer,
like loses its flavor.
There's something about the flavor that gets a little lost in the translation. So these, like you just put them in the fridge, and again, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That is fast, and they taste great. And you can get all these great add-ons like breakfast, juices. Oh my gosh.
The juices
I
are
cannot extol the virtues
I
of
like
the juices.
the desserts now.
Oh.
I've gotten into the desserts lately, and it's kind of like an indulgence. You feel like you're
decadent.
You do. You're like, oh, I'm at a restaurant. I'm ordering dessert after my dinner. It's like you're not just eating like a chocolate bar. It's like a nice dessert, you know?
None of that.
So nice.
So get started at factormeals.com/KitandKrysta50 off and use code KitandKrysta50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code KitandKrysta50 off at factormeals.com/KitandKrysta50 off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Why did you say it like that?
So,
KitandKrysta50 off.
You won't forget it now.
We'll put the link here and the QR code.
You're going to be hearing that in your sleep.
And in the description below. All right.
Okay, Mario Kart World, our final thoughts. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go through everything we know about this game and use that as a jumping off point for some fascinating discussion and conversations.
Yes.
And I want to give a shout out to the Super Mario Wiki, which is perhaps the most comprehensive place
you can find
for all this information that I was able to find, because again, for a long time I was just pecking away. Like, oh, well, I need a detail on this, or what's the latest on this? It's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, who has the time?
No.
Especially when you have like a very dense game like this.
Right.
It's like, I just want to know what's going on with this.
And definitely don't buy like the official Nintendo website for this game.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful website. But the level of information is
lacking.
Next to nothing.
Yes, don't keep it locked.
It's like looking at the back of the box.
Do not keep it locked to Nintendo.com. Yeah, they don't have the info at all.
Not in this case.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with, we have so many things, but let's start with the modes and talk about those. So we know there's kind of like 4 modes. There's Grand Prix, where you're doing kind of 4 races per cup. There's a lot of different cups. And we'll be talking about the specific courses that are in all those cups later. But of course, this time you're driving between track to track. That's part of the action. We have Knockout Tour. That is, I've always compared this to like these arcade modes where it's like, oh, hit the checkpoint.
Yes.
You know, in those arcade games, it was like, can you beat it within a certain time? In this one, it's like, are you within a certain range of finishing to kind of get narrowed down from 24 racers down to the winner?
F-Zero.
99.
99.
Oh, that's a good comparison point, too.
Yes, exactly. It's like you do have to rank within a certain number of racers, or else you get eliminated.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We have Free Roam, which is you just going around doing stuff. And
open world map.
We saw in the Direct that they have, in their words, hundreds of P-switches that activate missions, which are just like little one-off things that you can do. There are hidden coins, hidden panels. What exactly all of those things do, we don't really know yet, but seems like, if we're talking about in the hundreds, we got some Korok-style game design here.
Yeah, I do wonder if it is in the hundreds as in a Zelda shrine, where it's a little bit more than just find a little hidden thing. Maybe there's a little bit more gameplay involved. Or is it like, oh, you got a coin, and you have tens of thousands of coins that you have no use for? I do wonder what the range is in terms of
right. If it's
satisfaction of activity.
If it just brings up like a grid of like, oh, you found this coin, and that's kind of all it is, then
exactly.
I don't know how interested I am in doing.
Right. But if it's
that.
like if every switch activates like a little mini puzzle or a little game that you can play or something, that might be kind of interesting.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to that.
Yes.
And then we have battle mode, which is it is battle mode, and we only have 2 modes that we know of so far, which is balloon battle and coin runner, which is a little bit less than we are getting coming from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which had quite a few different.
Yeah.
Again, I forget the one where you end up in jail. I forget the name of that one, but I like that one.
Shine Stealer.
Shine Cops?
Shine Stealer, something like that. Shine something. That was not very good.
Get your shine box. Yes, that's what the mob says. I want to ask you, so those are all the modes. The differentiation between Grand Prix and Knockout Tour. Do you feel like these are differentiated enough? Because in my mind, I'm a little iffy on it, but when I look at comments from people who went to the Switch 2 hands-on events, they're like, oh my gosh, Knockout Tour is amazing. Like, you do not understand how fun and frantic this is until you've done it. So I'm like, okay. I maybe need to wait until I actually
your
play
opinion.
But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, my overall, like, just initial reaction to these different modes is, like, I kind of left a teensy bit disappointed. Like, honestly. Like, I just felt like, oh gosh, for the next new, like, this is the next gen Mario Kart game, I would have thought there would have been like a little bit more imagination.
Like what? What would you have wanted?
I don't know. I feel like everything is sort of like the Mario Kart that we know, but with like maybe like 1 or 2 new additional things. But I don't feel like there is like this big new innovation around Mario Kart. Like I guess if I were to like reach for a pie in the sky kind of situation, I would have wanted like a story mode.
Yes.
Where you could play as like each of the characters, and they all have little like, it's a little bit of a story mode where you can like, upgrade your cart, upgrade your character, like something like that would have been really interesting. Like these feel
Diddy
like
Kong Racing is always the game that people put out there. Like
exactly.
Here's a great idea for them to consider whenever they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of these modes feel like they're going to be really fun. Like Grand Prix is Grand Prix. We know this mode. We've seen this mode in pretty much every iteration of a Mario Kart game. I'm sure it's going to be really fun. Beautiful, solid. The tracks are going to be great. I'm not like worried about this mode. Like I just know it's going to be fine. Knockout Tour, I'm with you. I'm kind of like waiting to try it out to form a final opinion on it. But on the surface, it feels kind of like an F-Zero 99 type of thing, or like an arcade game where it seems cool and competitive, but does it feel like, oh my gosh, this has never been done before in a Mario Kart game? I would never have guessed that this is the mode that they would put in a Mario Kart game. My answer would be no.
It just kind of feels like a variation on Grand Prix to me versus like, oh, this is a truly distinct kind of thing. The detail of driving between the tracks in Grand Prix, is this a plus or a minus to you?
I want to try it out first before I make a decision. Like, I still have a really hard time like wrapping my head around exactly what that's going to feel like. Like, when I'm in Grand Prix mode and we're, let's say you're in Grand Prix mode, you're playing online with a bunch of people, like, is there a sense of like, let's just get to the next race? Yes. Like, what kind of advantage do I get driving from one racetrack to the next? Do I get some sort of advantage into the next race by doing that? Is there some other sort of connective tissue between the driving between the tracks and the actual racing part?
Yeah, I think
that's the part I'm just a little confused.
I think depending on your mood, you might want to be up for it or not. Like, we've all hit that point where it's like, oh, okay, I need to get the gold on all these different things to unlock. Again, I want the gold Mario.
Yes.
And at that point, you might be like, oh, now I got to do this drive that's going to take me how long? And it's like, oh, how many? How long do I?
You don't feel as leisurely as you were if you were just like trying to experience.
No, but there are definitely times where it's like, I'm just here to have some fun, and that's part of the fun too. I do like that. That's going to show you all the you're going to be on like the roadways between, and it does seem like there's a lot of things happening
Yeah.
on there. So I actually would say that I'm more excited for this than not, but over time I am curious, like, is this going to get to be a drag?
Like a little bit
Am I just going to be
tedious?
like, just get me to the next
That's what I'm
track?
thinking,
I wonder if
too.
that's like, I don't
Is there
know.
an option? Can you skip?
toggle, especially if you're playing online, is there an option to turn that off of like, no, let's just get to these tracks?
Yeah, because you're just like racing. You
I don't
want
know.
to like rank, So
yeah. Exactly. So free roam,
This is my most excited one.
For what reason?
Because I do like this idea of this game being more about the discovery and the surprise. I always felt like I always wondered in my like imagination of like, oh gosh, like these tracks are also like, chock full of secrets and so there seems to be a lot of depth to these tracks already. Like, what else can they do if it's more of like this bigger open world type of experience?
Mm-hmm.
And so the free roam part of it does seem like where you can experience that depth the most. And I really like the idea of a different kind of multiplayer experience where you are not competing against each other. You're just kind of like hanging out almost in this like really beautiful world and just like trying different things. It's almost like Grand Theft Auto. Like when we used to play Grand Theft Auto, that was the thing about Grand Theft Auto that was so fun. I'm not saying this game is like Grand Theft Auto, but it's like this idea of like, hey, like what's over there? Like let's drive over here together, or let's like go and see. Oh, I heard that there was like something over here. I read somewhere, someone found something. Let's go see if we can find it too.
Yeah.
Like that idea seems really interesting.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
boils down to how dense is it? Are there rewards
Yes.
for exploration? I'm leaning towards being optimistic about it because so later on we're going to talk about the tracks, but people have found out that there are actually tracks that are not listed as official tracks but are in the world, which maybe is a little bit hard. So let me. So they found some classic tracks actually from Super Mario Kart. It sounds like Choco Island 2 and a Koopa Beach course that are not listed, but they like, oh, this is that track. And it's just kind of out in
the world. Okay.
So if we're talking about something like that, where it's like, oh, we can do like an unofficial race, or that's just like an incredible throwback for fans, so it's like, all right, now we're now we're talking
That's cool.
versus like I'm on just grass doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know what kind of discoveries are hidden for you there, like what level of discovery that is, and that's what we're talking about before is like what kind of reward do you get for the exploration? Is it like as satisfying as a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom shrine, or is it like finding a Korok? Those are two different experiences that you're having, when you talk about exploration.
I think they've kind of got both covered. So I think the P-switches are analogous to shrines, maybe a little bit scaled down.
Yeah.
And the coins are Koroks. These things that we don't know are the hidden panels. We don't really have a clear set. They just said like, oh, you can find it, but like, well, what does that do?
Is it like a puzzle that you're putting together or something?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll find out.
It could be like, in Super Mario World, you're hitting those switches and it's like permanently activating things in the world.
That's
like
true.
If they had that sounds pretty neat.
Maybe you can like use it to get to places that you weren't able to before.
Could be a complicating thing if you're playing online with people. We should say all these modes you can do online.
Yeah.
Obviously. But yeah, I do trend more optimistic even though we know very little about it.
This is the one mode that I do feel like Nintendo's doing that big brain Nintendo thing, especially the dev team, where they want to preserve the element of surprise.
Yes.
And so they have been a bit cagier about the information being shared about this. But I do feel like there's something there.
I think at a minimum there will be a lot of little Easter egg references. Like they already showed that sign.
That sign.
Right, where they had all the modern characters parked next to the old characters.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of fan service.
A lot of stuff like that, which again may connect differently with different people, but for us at least, the old longtime fans will get that.
We're gonna get like a
appreciate that.
Exactly.
But again, you do wonder like what is the long-term interest in something like this going to be, where it's like, all right, I think I've seen pretty much everything.
Yeah, exactly. Once you do everything, once you activate all the switches,
and compared to something like a Zelda, at least with a Zelda, it's like, oh, I'm getting into a battle, or there's something that's happening. Versus this is like I'm just driving.
I'm just driving into nothing.
I'm just driving around.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. Battle mode.
This is my most disappointed thing.
You're disappointed in this. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's really. I thought they were going to do so much more with battle mode. Maybe this is something they're thinking about building out later. Yeah. But this is the one where I'm like, that's it? Oh, that's such a disappointment.
I could see them thinking
longer term.
This is not what people come to this for immediately, and there's a lot to do with just the general races, and eventually I imagine those other modes we had.
Yeah.
I imagine we will get those and maybe more, but it's just not here right now.
Yeah, this is a little unfortunate. And then the two battle modes that they have in here are very basic. It's like the battle mode that's from like the very first Mario Kart, basically.
Yeah.
There's nothing to write home about here. So, yeah, for a next gen Mario Kart game, you would think like, oh gosh, every single thing that we will put in this game at launch will be this like new innovation on the meat and potatoes of Mario Kart, but there are some aspects of this where I'm like, they didn't really try.
Have they said how many people can do battle mode?
Is it 24? That would be very hectic.
I don't know if I saw
probably not
an exact number. But they were also showing, in when playing online, you can create like teams of four groups of 6, for example. So that could be an interesting thing in battle mode if you had these larger scale teams.
Yeah.
And there's more than 2 teams. Again, I don't know if you can do that, but it seems like we should know something like that at this point. 2 weeks. 2 weeks away, but oh well.
You don't really know.
Let's move on to the items. So we have, of course, all those returning items, but we do have some new items, and some of these are back from older games, like the Feather, but some of them are entirely new. So let's just go through some of these. We have the coin shell, which I'll just read from this description what it does. The coin shell can be thrown like any other shell, but instead of honing in on your opponents, it will leave a trail of coins behind it. But you're not the only ones who can pick them up, so use it wisely or risk giving your opponents a competitive advantage. All right?
Coin economy.
I mean, coins are never the most exciting item to get.
But you need it.
You do need it.
Coin economy.
The ice flower, I think we know what that is. The hammer, Hammer Bros hammer.
That's kind of cool.
Those. Mega mushroom, makes you big. Feather, I mentioned, and then Kamek. And I'll just read this. Kamek can transform other racers on the track. Kamek can transform racers into charging chucks on racing vehicles, and that's kind of what.
Yeah, it has some other effects.
What's the downside to being a charging chuck? Sounds cool to me.
Maybe you're like more.
Why is a charging chuck a character? We're gonna get into that in a bit.
Yeah, why would you have? Oh, charging chuck should be a character, shouldn't he? DLC. Yeah, maybe you're just a little like uncontrollable or something. Yeah, items. I feel like they always add like at least 1 or 2 new items.
It's kind of tough to improve on that kind of core set
of items.
As I feel like a new item has not really hit in.
I think my favorite new item of the modern Mario Kart era is the piranha plant, where you
I do like that.
Hold the pot, and it kind of like
that's a fun one.
Drags you forward. That's a really fun mechanic. Yeah,
the horn has utility of blocking the blue shell.
That's true.
You do need to be pretty skilled to use
like
that,
and
it's not you know. You might need to hold on to it for a long time to actually use it. There's sometimes you get it, it's like, I have no use for this, so just burn it.
Burn it, yeah.
I'm
this hammer seems interesting. I
think the hammer's cool. I don't know. I there's nothing here that's like super standing out to me. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to do that.
What about that one when you get all 8 items around you?
No, I would just spam it. I just spam it because I usually just need the star.
What's the worst item? Not coins. What's the worst item?
The worst item.
Would you say?
Well, I think they did show that the items. So you had to like trail. You hold the button to have it trail, but I think now they just automatically
auto trail
do that. So you don't have to do that. You could argue that's a reduction of the skill needed.
This is Stephanie
to do it.
This is Stephanie's best skill. She calls it protect your butt.
Yes.
With an item. Yes.
Worst item.
Mine is maybe a hot take, but I don't like the super mushroom. The gold mushroom.
The gold mushroom.
too uncontrollable.
You can overdo it.
Overdo it.
It's never as good as you think.
It's never as cool as you think, and you can get like a false sense of like, I got a cool item, but it actually sucks.
And then you're out of control.
And then you're off a cliff or something. Or like you're just it's not as good as you think it is.
I think the boo I don't really like.
Oh, the boo.
Because it's like, oh, I'm gonna get something, and then you get like a banana peel or a green shell. It's like, that's not very exciting. Whatever.
What's the best item? Red shell.
Obviously, red shell's pretty great.
Pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, the bullet bill is veering on unfair.
Rubber banding?
That's like, I'm back. Here I go.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah,
bullet. I mean, that's unfair. I think classic old.
The lightning bolt is annoying for everybody, but the person who used it, really annoying.
Sometimes you have to do it secretly, like that's me. I do love the classicness of a red shell.
Yeah,
it's been there since the beginning, and it's like, this is an item that just is awesome.
I think they just nailed it pretty early on.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's fine for them to try some new stuff.
Yeah, but it's like when you get a red shell, you're like, I got you.
It's like, and again, the feathers come and gone over the years.
I don't know about the feather.
Well, I mean, in this game, if you're, there's times, if they talk about the verticality and all the moves you can do, the feather could come in handy, actually.
A big jump.
This time. So let's actually talk about that now, these new abilities.
Okay, yeah.
So you can do it's not wall running, but you can jump and drive horizontally on the wall and then jump off from there. There's this charge jump where you can just like charge up a big jump.
I like the shaky.
And jump higher, and then rail grinding as well.
Tony Hawk Mario.
Yes. I think these are pretty good
cool.
additions. I think these are going to be fun. I think they've also shown some good examples of using these to reach new pathways, to get out of the way of trouble. So I kind of like that, especially like the charge jump. It's like 0.25 of an item, Yeah. It's like, well, we have the feather. That's a whole item. This charge jump is like
deploy it correctly.
It's just like in constant use. It's like in a shooter. It's like the gun that you have that never runs out of bullets.
Like basic.
It's kind of weak, but it's like you always have that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like the idea of these moves that you always have being like some way to defend yourself. Because sometimes you do feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just getting nailed, like with items and people are hitting me, and it's just like there's nothing I can do about this. I'm just gonna sit here while everybody just like rolls over me, and it kind of sucks. That kind of is a sucky feeling.
Yeah.
So having some way to like defend yourself or get away from something, like just give me a shot, feels kind of nice. And I also like this more than the anti-grav stuff.
Yeah.
Because that one I can never tell.
You didn't even know when it was happening or not.
Exactly. Like it wasn't like it was kind of anticlimactic. Where it's like on paper it sounds so cool. Like, oh, this is like, I'm defying gravity. Like I'm upside down, but then when you're actually playing the game, you can't tell. And it just feels
too focused to
notice. Feels normal. So, but I feel like you can tell with these.
Yeah, I think the wall running is going to be even more exciting than anti-gravity, because that's always a crowd pleaser in games. That's such a cool thing to do, and it's also something that like you wouldn't have thought to be able to do in a Mario Kart game. Mm-hmm. Like, well, why would a cart be able to do that? But it's like it's a cart, basically a cartoon, so you do whatever you want.
I like the grinding, the rail grinding.
You like the rail grinding.
I want to see. Okay. I want a course where there's like multiple rails that you can jump to.
Yeah.
And you can just keep grinding.
Like a Splatoon level.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be very satisfying.
Okay.
I think.
Sure.
So I think that would be really neat.
Yeah. So I think we're both pretty positive on this. All right, tracks. Here we go.
Yes,
we have a lot of information here.
This is where I had stopped paying attention.
So we know there are 7 cups, and from these visuals, there is a 8th speculated cup that people are talking about as well. I'll be honest, I don't know where people found, like maybe it was people who attended these hands-on events. I don't know where this information came out from.
Okay.
Because at first I was like, oh, how many of these tracks have they confirmed? It's like, no, here's 30 tracks. We know very clearly 16 are new, 14 of them are classic, and we know that a couple of them have different routes. So let me explain what that means. So let's use Crown City as an example. So scroll down, and we can see on the map, where's Crown City? there's different entry points
into
leading
Crown
into
City.
it. So depending on your entry point, you might get a different take on that
on
map
the start.
that's different from the Mario Kart Tour courses in 8, where every lap they would change. This is like, no, this is just you're still in Crown City, but it's a completely different track that you're on. I think that's pretty cool. So
yeah, because like you can get into Crown City from Peach's Stadium, from Choco Mountain, from Wario Stadium, from Desert Hills.
There's a lot of ways.
There's a lot of ways in. So that means there may be a lot of options in terms of the different tracks that you can encounter.
Right. So they know of 2 variations of that from what we've seen. I'm not sure there's many more than that. But if you're counting those, that takes it to 32.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
The breakdown of new and classic courses, I didn't realize there were so many classic courses. I think that's because those have all gotten a pretty big overhaul.
Yeah, I'm sure.
To the point where they're a little
maybe
bit...
they're like unrecognizable.
They're a little bit unrecognizable from what maybe you knew them to be before.
Right.
But I'm fine with that. I mean,
totally fine with
we've
that.
experienced these a lot already in a lot of different ways. So getting a fresh take on it, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, no, I think that's
all.
great. Like you kind of want that, you know. This is like the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter parts of Mario Kart. That, yeah, you want to see an upgrade, but you kind of want some of that to be back too. Like I would love to see N64 Wario Stadium upgraded. That sounds awesome. You know?
Yeah.
So.
What are 3 tracks out of all of these that you are personally excited for?
Oh, geez. This is such a basic thing. I'm kind of a basic Mario Kart player to begin with, but I always want to see the new Mario circuit. Like I want to look at it because I know it's gonna be good. You know.
Yeah.
So that one for sure.
The new Mario circuit, though.
Yeah.
Mario Brothers circuit. This one.
Yes.
You're not talking about the retro. Classic Mario circuit. No.
No. I am pretty excited. Like I like Cloud Top Cruise. That's one of my favorite courses. So I'm kind of excited about this Dandelion Depths.
What cup is that in?
Leaf
Circuit. Leaf Cup Dandelion Depths. Okay.
It kind of looks like it's in the clouds. It has like that Jack and the Beanstalk kind of situation. And the other one I like is Sky High Sunday.
And that's under what cup?
Under Star Cup.
Star Cup,
I like
Sky
any
High Sunday,
food-related.
which is from...
It's from Tour.
Tour and 8 Deluxe.
But I like to look at the food, what they do with any sort of desserty things
yes.
in these games, because it looks yummy.
Right. You know me, one of my favorite courses from 8 is
Mount Wario. Do they have a Mount Wario?
And any of those point-to-point races, and I don't know at this point which any of those are, but I'm very interested in this faraway oasis with all of these kind of like safari
I did see
creatures that look very cute.
I did see someone post a screenshot of the giraffes.
Yeah,
giraffes
from
that,
giraffe,
and it was
a very
really cute
looking elephant. I think that looks cool.
That looks neat. Yeah,
I'm immediately drawn to the Peach Beach that we saw in the trailer.
Oh my gosh, nice water.
Again, this was unrecognizable to me from the trailer. It looks like again this real world place, Mont Saint Michel, which I'm going to be going this summer.
Yes,
so I am
you can
excited
look at it.
For that. And then for a third one, I am interested in this Peach Stadium, and again the different takes that you can get on that because it kind of looks like that's under the Shell Cup. Kind of looks like a bus depot.
It does.
Or something. So
very,
I'm curious. Different. I'm curious about all the different things we get up to there and the couple of variations that they have on that. But overall, how do you feel about this selection of courses?
I think it's pretty good. Like they look like they, hit the classics. They have totally redone pretty much all the courses, even if it is a classic course, and they added some new ones that look interesting. I'm sure there's going to be more courses to come, so this is not the end of any of these courses, but yeah, I think this is going to be really good. Like there's no disappointment here of as to like how cool these courses.
And your thoughts on the retro courses being redesigned this way? Are you mad?
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Like I think it's an interesting take on because we were wondering how they would handle the retro courses and doing a kind of almost like a complete overhaul, but with the bones of a retro course seems to be the right approach to make sure it fits, 24 players, fits the new whatever the new connectivity of the tracks and all that stuff. It seems like this is the best way to handle it.
I'm going to add Whistle Stop Summit in Mushroom Cup. with this big train on it.
Oh, yeah.
I think
that's cool.
being on like a train track,
Yeah.
that reminds me of the N64 one that had the train going around it, which was a cool
that's very cool.
little detail.
This is a great question block runes.
Under which cup?
Banana cup. That looks pretty cool too, actually.
Yes. I think they were posting about that on Nintendo
that one
today,
looks pretty cool.
recently. That was like interesting as well. But yeah, I'm not mad about the classic courses either. I think we've seen with 8, we've seen what doing them in kind of a more traditional way in HD graphics looks like. They look great.
Yeah.
But I think now it's like, okay, well, let's really take a new riff on these and see what we can do. And obviously you need to, because you have way more players than you ever intended to have on these games before. And I like that I didn't immediately recognize them, but I'm sure that once I'm actually racing on them, I'll be like, oh
yeah, this part.
It's this,
like
or
this thing.
I remember this thing, or they changed this. I'm sure that will happen.
That will come back to you. So you've played these courses so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really nice.
Do you have expectations for Rainbow Road, or do you care at all?
I don't know.
You don't care.
I mean, I don't like live or die by Rainbow Road. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
you're not looking for anything specific.
I'm interested in the music of Rainbow Road.
Yes,
definitely.
of course.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
I was just wondering because a lot of people do live and die by Rainbow Road.
Okay.
And I mean that is oftentimes
that's fine. Yeah.
The big surprise that Nintendo like saves for you to unlock. You know, is the reward of finally getting to Rainbow Road as like the last thing that you do. So I just was just wondering.
DK Spaceport, I remember they showed that in the Treehouse Live. That looked really cool. That had kind of the DK girders going along it. Oh, this new version of Wario Stadium, I'm sure is going to be like over the top. Like a monster truck rally. Look at this like pyrotechnics that they've got going on here. I mean, I'm pretty excited at all of these, like quite honestly. So then we have a lot of different takes on the world map here.
Right. So
here's one that has all of the course names overlaid. Then we have this kind of in-game, with in-game graphics take on the world map.
Yes.
Then there's another one without all of the text, so you can see it more clearly. And then finally, another one where you can see the topography really clearly. Thoughts on any of this just looking at the world map? I'll go first. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm really excited I like bridges.
Oh, I like bridges.
I think bridges are cool.
Okay.
I'm seeing some really interesting opportunities. Look at this very long bridge that we have in this kind of main bay just south of Peach Stadium. It looks like, that's how you get to Koopa Troopa Beach.
Yeah, it's between Crown City and Faraway Oasis.
But then remember also I think Rainbow Road is going to be above.
Is going to go through.
But remember in the first trailer, we saw those
Golden Gate Bridge.
It looked like the Golden Gate Bridge. So I think that could be really fun to race on.
Yeah.
I think you could get some really nice scenery, possibly a vista or two.
Oh, a vista. Yes, Vista Watch.
I think there's some fun things you could do in free roam mode.
Pictures.
Like, can I somehow drive up to the top of the spire?
And get on the rails of the bridge.
I'm sure
can you grind on the rails of the bridge?
Exactly.
That would be cool.
That's my immediate takeaway is I'm excited by the number of bridges.
Okay. My immediate takeaway
is this the answer you would get from like a 5-year-old?
Yes. I like bridges.
I want to drive on bridge.
Wow, Carl Bridge, cool. I like that there are lots of different environments. So it looks like there is, obviously like a snowy area, like a jungle-y area. There's the desert area. It's very thematic in terms of...
There's even, though, here it looks like there's like different takes on a desert.
Yeah, exactly.
So over here, the Mario Brothers circuit, that's that first level that they showed that had that cars kind of canyon-y.
Yeah, it kind of looks like when you go down Route 66 or whatever.
Then over here, though, Faraway Oasis.
That's like an African safari desert.
That's like a whole different kind of a vibe there. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes, exactly. I really like that. I do like how it feels very like distinct, and the tracks sort of match the environments as well. Like you do see the that far off Oasis track in that like sort of African desert environment. So what I'm envisioning is like as you free roam in that area, there may be more of that thematic to discover. Like is there more fun little safari animals? Is there more whatever that's
Right.
themed to that environment that you're discovering when you hit P blocks in the free roam mode. That seems like a cool way to kind of organize some of that discovery and that exploration.
Yeah, this is a great image. Honestly, any of these, especially the ones that don't have anything on them. So I'm looking like this one,
the actual world,
the actual game
in-game
graphics,
graphic.
or the last one that we have here that looks like this. Like this is something you would get in a manual from like 1992,
cool,
and your mind does kind of race because you can see like, oh, here is a lake that looks like a star.
Yeah. You see all sorts of stuff.
Some people
down here.
were saying, this Bowser's. They were like, oh, that looks like the King of Red Lions.
That looks like the Hylian crest and the King of Red Lions. You squint really hard.
The northwest.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we had a moment of like, wait, what?
Wait
and
a
then
minute.
it wasn't.
What? Yeah.
Even the stuff in the water, you can see like there's like little like whirlpools.
A lot of bridges.
Little islands in the water as well, little offshoots and things like that. Yeah, there is a big bridge that's kind of connecting.
Right, you can see this thing. It's like when you fly over a city in an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
You can see certain landmarks. So that's like
view.
the sky. That's the Sky High Sunday right there in the northeast side of things.
It does look cool.
So you can see just like how big some of these are, how much they stand out.
Yeah.
This is something that I could look at for a really long time and just like plan out like, oh, I want to see that and I'm going to drive there.
Yeah.
I still don't really have a sense for like if you wanted to drive from one side to the next.
Like how long that's going to take?
I don't really know. I don't imagine it's going to be as long
as you think.
As like one of these modern Zelda games.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
What was it? 20 minutes about?
I don't know. Actually.
Yeah.
Who was actually doing that? Fast traveling.
So many people were doing that.
Fast
Remember, they were like, we did that.
We did ride versus run.
Ride versus run.
Ride versus run.
Yeah, ride versus run.
Or the construct your contraption challenge where you rage quit.
I couldn't do it.
You were so angry.
Really bad at that. Really bad.
You were really mad.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very interesting.
All right, well, maybe you'll find out in a Kit and Krysta video coming to you soon as we try and race.
Across the map.
Race across the map. Does this does this land have a name? Does this continent have a name? What is this called?
Is this a different...
This is Mario Kart World.
I guess this is Mario Kart. Yeah, it's not like the Mushroom Kingdom, though, or anything like that.
This?
Is it? No,
it's
not.
The Sprixie King. We had a lot of different
kingdoms
over the years. But yes, so again, the thing I was pointing out was some people had found these other tracks that are not named tracks that are part of cups in the map, and I think that is very cool. Do we want to see if we can find one right now? No, I don't think that's a good use of our time.
I don't think that's a good idea to do that.
I don't think that's a good use of our time.
I also can't really see.
We're getting very close to the screen right now.
I'm very like...
Can't you zoom in?
No.
What are you doing?
Enhance. Can I enhance? Oh, enhance.
no.
Enhance.
Oh, dear.
I have a question about Moo Moo Meadows.
What about it?
What is the difference between the cows that are just roaming around Moo Moo Meadows versus the cow that you can use as a racer?
I don't know, and I don't want to get into it.
That's kind of like Goofy is a dog that lives in a house and has a job, but then Pluto is a dog.
And again, this cow is eating a hamburger.
That's Mario's
What's going on?
Or that's Mickey's pet.
Are they going to have to patch that out? The cow
Cannibalism?
That's a veggie burger. Sure it is.
It's a Boca burger. It's made out of beans. Oh no! Don't eat your own self.
But yeah, I don't know. Of all these things that we're talking about, just like staring at this world map is one of the more exciting things that we're going through.
You know, when you free roam to that lake that looks like a star, something's gonna happen. You just know.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like when you go to that heart-shaped lake in Zelda.
I was just gonna say it's very comparable.
Something is gonna happen
to that.
What it is, we have yet to find out.
Okay, characters. Let's move on to that. So there are a lot of characters. Here they all are, and this is broken into returning characters and new characters. Thoughts on this roster?
Kind of strange. It's a little bit of a mishmash of characters. You know, they obviously have the classic returning characters.
Oh, they do have. Charge and Chuck is here.
He is?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
we were
great.
wrong about Charge and Chuck.
Great, wonderful. What a great addition that is.
Then I don't think they should make it a bad thing to become Charge and Chuck. It's like, what if I chose to be Charge and Chuck? Like, oh no, I got changed into Charge and Chuck. I chose that guy.
And then is it confusing if you were playing as Charging Chuck?
Maybe that's the point.
And then you get Kameked into it. Wait a second. How does that work? I don't get that. Okay. It's a bit of a mishmash because it's like some characters are like super recognizable and then some characters are a blooper or a cheap sheep or whatever.
If you could Thanos snap 3 of the new characters out for something better, which would you do away with?
There's a lot down here that are like very questionable. Like Sidestepper the crab.
Yeah.
Cataquack.
Parabitty Bud?
It's like
who?
What? Cataquack.
Where's that one?
Right there.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
We don't need that. Where's Cappy? That's what I'm asking. Where
Stingbee?
the heck is Cappy?
Swoop? Who are these people?
Where the heck is Cappy?
Yeah, we don't have, let's see. So what are the ones that we would want to add? So Locky 2, obviously.
Well, he's there.
He is?
He's right there. What are you talking about?
Oh,
He's
where?
right there.
Oh, he's right there. Oh, he's
Come on
very
now.
cute. Okay. Cappy. Okay, so Cappy.
Just where's Cappy? Like again, like I don't understand their criteria for this. We can have Parabitty Bud, but no Cappy. Come on now.
Who else are we missing?
Yeah, I think that they went just
batch?
maybe a little too deep on some of these new
cut,
characters.
yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, it's like, all right, I appreciate that, but it feels like there were maybe some mid-level characters who were left out a little bit.
Do we have all the Koopalings back?
For example, yeah, where's Koopalings? Is there no
Wait. Seriously?
Well, there's a major miss right away. And then
Well,
like
they had
under
them before,
them,
so where'd they go?
Boom Boom. That's kind of like a mid-level character from Super Mario Brothers
Boom
3,
Boom.
who's like even like lamer than a Koopaling. Although I don't think Koopalings are lame.
Koopalings are not
in
lame
any
at
way,
all.
but I'm
Are you
just saying,
kidding me right now?
Boom Boom is a step below, but it's a step above Parabitty Bud. Okay.
And Cataquack.
Do you know what I mean?
And Conkdor.
And I just don't like. There's something that bothers me. It's cow.
You want a name? You want to
Yeah.
name the cow? Moo.
It's called Moo Moo.
Moo Moo.
Right, and it's really awkward in their when they're doing like the voiceover for the direct.
And introducing
And we're introducing
cow.
20 great new characters, including cow. Come on.
Dolphin.
Yeah, that's not great.
Coin coffer.
So,
Like why?
all right, now name 3 new characters that you appreciate in the new characters, just to balance this out a bit.
Okay.
I like Goomba, I like Piranha Plant, and I like Spike. I think that's great.
Piranha Plant.
So
I do like Charge and Chuck.
Pokey. I think Pokey's fine.
Charge and Chuck is cool.
Rocky Wrench. I'll stand for that.
Pokey is cool. I like Pokey.
Some of these others I'm finding a little questionable in the grand scheme. Sorry.
Peppa.
Sorry. Parabitty Bud.
Where is Parabitty Bud?
That's this one.
Oh, that thing?
Yes.
I'm never going to choose that
Parabitty
character.
Bud. Yeah.
Rocky Wrench is all right.
Rocky Wrench is kind of awesome, actually.
Can I throw my wrench at you?
No.
Oh, that's too
You can get a
bad.
hammer and pretend it's a wrench. Vehicles. So vehicles. You are choosing.
Vehicles.
So no more customization, no more picking the individual parts.
Yeah.
Which, is that good or bad?
I was very basic.
I think it's good because I don't think most people knew what to do.
I
with
looked at
that.
the little thing, the
right.
little chart.
Or they were going for aesthetics of like, oh, I'm in like a monster truck.
Yes,
Or
or like the tiny wheels on my Wiggler
the tiny
truck.
wheels never looked that great.
If
So
you paired it with like the right cart, it looked kind of fun.
sure.
Or they had like the wheels that looked like donuts.
Yeah.
or
So
whatever.
I do think this is maybe something where streamlining it is probably the right thing to do, given
Yeah.
how like wide the audience for this game is. Like I wonder how many people just like got hung up on that screen of like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, analysis paralysis.
You need the flashing press B.
Oh, press B.
Like in
You
Super
are
Mario
gonna get
Kart, right on the title
very-
screen, a giant press B.
You're gonna get left behind because someone's gonna be like moving on.
Jamming on these
I
buttons.
was just like standard card, standard wheels. I was
Right.
so
Meanwhile, down in the corner, oh, did you know that you have auto drive and auto turn on? Oh, no,
Yes.
you didn't because it's a tiny thing in the corner.
Baby
And now
steering.
you're in this racing and you're you're like a baby.
You're a baby and
I
you're in
didn't
your
know.
tiny
I
cart with
forgot.
its tiny wheels,
Right,
like
that
a
you spent
big baby.
30 minutes choosing your wheel and your glider. So now you're just picking between a cart, a bike, and an ATV.
Yes.
You unlock carts by collecting coins like you have in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and currently they have been tracking 40 different vehicles.
Okay.
Seems good to me.
It's good. It's a lot.
Yeah. The ones I've seen so far look cool, so I don't really have too many issues
They'll
with
give
that.
you stats though, right? Still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they've said this. There's stats between the characters and the carts, so you're making
Right. You're combining the two to
creating
to
something
create
unique.
something. Okay.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Depth.
That's
for
enough.
most people there.
Yes.
Other new features: the food. So you
Yes,
stop at
the Yoshi
at the little restaurants to
restaurant.
collect. They call it Dash Food to unlock outfits that are inspired by your meal.
Here comes a DoorDash partnership.
Once now, we had Mercedes before. Now we have DoorDash.
I'm serious. This is
You
like
slap a DoorDash or like slap an Uber sticker on the cart.
yes.
Oh no!
How your food arrives before you can finish a Mario Kart race.
This cannot be allowed.
It's gonna happen. You know it is.
So those are just kind of like a one-time thing. It's like once you've gotten that, once you've unlocked that costume, you just kind of have it at any time.
The food looks
Do you
good.
like that as a mechanic?
The eating to unlock the costumes?
Yes.
Yes, I do like that. I think it's fun.
But are you going to spend a weekend like, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to
probably
unlock
not.
all the costumes for everybody?
No,
and you're just going to be driving up to this restaurant like 20 different times?
I'm gonna naturally do it. I'm like, I'll
You don't
naturally
care.
do it.
You don't care.
And whatever I unlock, and if I don't get to it, then I don't get to it.
You don't want the farmer outfit for Peach?
She's pretty cute.
You don't want that?
You just want hot pants.
That might be the default
That's
look
defense.
for Peach.
Well,
So
so
I
you're
don't
fine.
have to
You
do
don't
anything.
do anything.
That's my first
I
selection.
want backwards hat Mario.
Where's that?
Sightseeing Mario with the sunglasses and
Sightseeing.
the
Oh, that's cool.
backwards hat.
Yeah, that one's very cool.
Vagrant
So not
Mario.
every character has the same number of costumes.
Right.
Some have
Mario
fewer.
has a
Of course,
lot.
obviously,
Of course,
Mario
Mario.
has a lot.
I need the aviator one.
For who?
Mario.
For
that
Mario,
one's very
where's that one?
cute.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. That one's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I feel like this could be potentially tedious. Where it's like, you
You don't have to
in
do
that game,
it.
where it's like, well, now I'm scanning every single amiibo, one after the other, because I need to register these in the game.
Oh.
There's, I don't know. There's a
But
lot
you
of
don't
games,
have to do it.
but I want them. I want to have them.
Well, that's your problem.
So I need to get it. I think a lot of people want to get it.
Weirdos.
Yeah, I want to get it. What do you mean? There's also the rewind feature.
Yes.
Where you can.
I don't understand this really.
So this is from the Forza games.
Yeah.
Introduced this. Yeah, I agree. I don't know that this is super necessary. So the way it works also is when you rewind, the rest of the race is still happening.
they just
So
go
you're
dumb.
not rewinding everything.
right,
So
you're
it
just
is
reminding yourself.
kind of putting you at a disadvantage. And they said they were talking about it as, oh, here's how you learn the best routes and the tricks and the secrets. But it's like, just do it again. Like, none of these tracks are that long. I mean, unless you're like doing a run where it's like, I'm truly here to find a secret.
Yeah.
I don't see myself
Using this.
using it.
Especially if I'm playing with other people. I want to win.
Yeah.
I'm not rewinding. Are you kidding
Is
me?
this in conflict with what we say about NSO games, where we like the rewind?
Well, that's because that game is like an RPG. It's like, I'm going to rewind
Right.
Mario and Luigi
That's
Dream
rewinding.
Team.
That's rewinding everything. So it's giving you a new chance to win. Whereas
Yes.
this is like actually might be giving you more of a chance to lose.
I don't want to lose.
Yeah. So I'm a little curious about this.
Like, if you and I
don't
were
know.
racing, I'm not rewinding. I'm going to beat you.
Yeah. I don't know. Racing in teams, up to 4 teams of 6. We already talked about that. Free roam has a photo mode that looks very cool. I think I'll
wanna
be
do this.
taking ample opportunity
Yes.
with that. This is kind of a newer detail. You can find these binoculars.
Kind of like at Super
Like from-
Nintendo World.
Yes,
And Super
for
Mario
more modern
Odyssey.
3D Mario games
Yeah.
to look around the world.
This is where you can spot like secret
yeah.
shortcuts and things like that, which is kind of
I like this little video they put out.
I know.
There's
It's cool.
there's a little airplane flying around.
That looks like Dodo Airlines.
and it does kind of does a seaplane, as they say.
Or a seaplane.
It's okay
Yes.
because this is a seaplane. And when they panned down, there were a lot of cars on
just
that
kinda hanging out,
on that
yeah.
freeway
Yeah.
doing its thing. So I appreciated that. Let's wrap up with some of our big picture questions on this game. Is it worth $80? You don't have to actually answer that.
I paid $50.
There's
so
actually
yes.
nothing that I would rather discuss. Literally anything.
I think we're
than
over.
that-
We're
than that
done
at this
talking
point.
about this
Yes.
at this point. Let's move on.
Yes, here's the answer. For some people it will, and for some people it won't. We're moving
Exactly.
on.
We're moving
yes,
on.
we're
Let's move
moving
on.
on. Will it be a bigger hit than Mario Kart 8?
I think only time can tell.
What a cop-out answer.
Well, I think
Only time will tell.
I think at launch there's going to be so much excitement for this
Yes.
game. I think nearly everybody that bought a Switch 2 will have this game and will be playing it launch in the weeks after launch. I'm sure that launch weekend is going to be huge for this game. But I would love to see how long that hype lasts for. Is it like Breath of the Wild, where we just keep playing Mario Kart for 2 years and everyone keeps finding secrets and everyone keeps finding new stuff?
Breath of the Wild didn't sell 75 million copies.
True. Very true. Or is it going to be one of those things where like it kind of dies down in like a couple months basically, and then you kind of you dabble with it, every once in a while when someone wants to play multiplayer, you got people over, you got friends wanting to play a couple races, that's how you treat the game. So I'm really curious to see how long we can sustain it. Like, how long will this game keep my attention,
Yeah, I think that's maybe the question, kind of a more fresh take on the question that Nintendo is asking themselves is, can we make this the key engagement driver
Yes.
on the Switch 2? And Mario Kart 8 kind of backdoored itself into that.
It was something that Nintendo didn't expect, is
right.
the thing.
And
so they weren't really like doing anything themselves proactively
Right.
to feed that.
So a little bit late, they came up with the Booster Course Pass.
Right.
But it just kind of happened on its own and sustained itself for a really long time due to nothing that they directly
did. So this is the question that I have is like, was that sort of like a lightning in a bottle, right time, right place phenomenon that happened? Or is there something specific about Mario Kart games that just does this all the time? Like that's why I say only time can tell if this becomes that.
I think it's both true. I think both of those things are true. I think this will sell dozens and dozens of millions of copies.
Dozens.
What?
It's going to sell 12.
No,
copies.
dozens. 24, 36, 48. Guess what? Those are all under 75. Those
Millions.
are all less than 75. And I know, I say this all the time. Like, some things are just the biggest and best that a thing can be. And they're
You think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
they are
is that?
so insurmountable that it's like, oh man, like how do you ever climb that mountain again? I don't know, and I don't think this game does it, but I do think that it can have a lot of other purposes. Again, beyond just selling, which I think it'll sell a ton, of that question of how do we keep people glued to a Switch 2. A lot of it comes down to how they support this game over the next 8 years, which is a question we'll get to later, and we don't have any clue what their plan is. I'm sure they have a plan, but they haven't told us what that plan is yet. But yeah, I think they have a different view on it versus just can it just sell that many?
Right.
I think they have other goals in mind for this game.
I think so,
and that's partially why it's a day one game.
Exactly.
Starting from the first day.
Yes.
From the beginning to the end.
They're going to be using this to do some different kinds of, like, what is it called? Like stickiness drive, like how to get people, how to make it a sticky experience is another like markety kind of thing that happens. It's like, what kind of things do we put on the system? What is the thing that keeps people coming back over and over and over again? Even if they put down Mario Kart, let's say we all play it for a month and it's like the biggest hype, whatever, it's hyped.
What was that engagement metric you were telling me about that had a funny name? What was that?
What?
You had some metric that you were telling me about.
Oh, really?
It was an acronym that had a funny name.
Yeah, something like this,
Yeah.
right? Where
Right.
it's like, it is like, this is the thing that keeps people like boomeranging back to the system.
Right.
And even if they get distracted by something else, they'll come back to this. I think that's the kind of experimentation Nintendo's going to be doing with this game for years. And that's where we might see like different takes on booster courses or DLC or adding battle modes or whatever else they have kind of kept back from what's available at launch. Like they're keeping some stuff back for a purpose, for a reason. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the longevity of this game based on what their like strategy around this game is.
Yeah. How will this game review? Believe it or not, we already answered this question.
We did.
But let's go through it again.
I'm sticking to mine.
So let's talk about, here I have 6 of the past Mario Kart games. Let's look at the review scores. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got a 92, great. Mario Kart 8 got an 88, a lot of 8s. Mario Kart 7 got an 85. Mario Kart DS got a 91. Mario Kart Wii, bit of a dip with an 82.
That's the blandest one.
And Mario Kart Double Dash with an 87. So we previously predicted our scores for Mario Kart World. I said 88, and you said 92. Very interesting that those are the two scores for the two iterations of Mario Kart 8.
And that is, we came up with those numbers before we knew the actual Metacritic scores for Deluxe and
Well,
8.
you can just look it up.
But when we said those numbers initially, we hadn't looked it up.
Maybe you didn't.
Oh, you looked it up? I just went with
I was curious of like, what is the
I went with my
what is
gut.
the range that this is typically going?
Yeah, there's definitely a range. I went with my gut.
So this is a score that's only 4 points less than yours, but you seem to think I'm off my rocker.
I just think
for
that
suggesting this.
it's got to be over 90.
Why?
Because it looks amazing.
I think there are some things about this game that make it a bit of a target for reviews. Like, there are people who are still like big mad about the price of this game, and it doesn't take many of those people who have an outlet who are writing a review on Metacritic giving this like a 6 out of 10 that's going to take it down from a 92 to an 88. Oh. I think there are things about this game that are more lightning rod-ish than we've had in Mario Kart before.
Okay.
Yes, or just the frustrate, like, again, the pockets of communities that have frustrations with Nintendo right now, frustrations with the Switch 2. How can I take this out?
Okay, that's fair.
I just feel like that's a
fair.
phenomenon that's going to happen.
That is fair. This has been a launch where not everything is positive. This has been a launch for Nintendo where there has been some outcries of negativity, and certainly there's been some bad communication from Nintendo, some confusing things that have happened throughout this launch. So that is fair. But judging by just the quality of the game, especially based on the hands-on...
Based on the time that you played it?
No. Based on the hands-on impressions that we've seen from other people, it does look like it's just a really high quality, really beautiful, feels like a really big, bold step for Mario Kart.
I think we're saying mostly the same thing here.
Yeah, I do wonder. I wonder how the kind of the rockiness, the negativity, this like kind of still like underlining feelings that people may have will kind of counteract the quality of the game, because that could be the difference between a 90 and for this game being in the 90 range and for this game being in an 80s range. That is
Mario Kart World the new Concord? Check out my 4-hour new think piece essay.
Oh boy, can't wait.
Our last big picture question: how will Nintendo support this game going forward, and how will other Nintendo IP be integrated, if at all?
Ooh.
If at all.
Yeah, like we were saying before, I do think this is going to be a very different approach for Nintendo. Not to say Nintendo's getting into live service games or anything like that, but this could be Nintendo's kind of take on what a live service game is, where they are thinking about new, different ways of supporting it, of making you pay for stuff.
So it's not going to be free.
I don't think
I paid $80 for this game.
I don't think it's going to be free.
I don't think it is either.
I really don't think
there's close to no chance that it is free.
I think more than ever you're going to pay more money. So if you're mad now,
right,
prepare to be mad in about 3 months.
I mentioned this in a previous episode, and it was just something that popped into my head at the moment. But I think it's actually a really fun idea. Of you have this main map, which is the island,
those islands,
and having around it other islands that represent different IP, smaller islands around it. So you have the Zelda Island, the Splatoon Island, the Animal Crossing Island. How many islands can you squeeze in around here?
That's cool.
I think that could be a really fun way
Prepare to pay
to do it.
$20 per island.
It almost builds that Smash anticipation of oh, what's the next one gonna be? And then you hear about it, and then there's months and months of oh, well, here's the area that they could put here. It's a good way to position it to build hype.
It really kind of feels like,
and that's something you can do over a series of years.
Right, and it really feels almost like the theme park approach.
Yeah.
Now we have Donkey Kong World. Now we have the Legend of Zelda World, and if they do it that way, they can sort of keep the original structure of how this game works, where each island has the different tracks, but it's an interconnected island where you can drive around, you can free roam on the Zelda island and discover things. They can theme it out again, where everything is very on brand for Zelda. Like they could keep the true kind of spirit of what they're trying to build with this world concept with all of these different islands. So I can totally see them doing that, but I don't think it's going to be free. I think it's going to be more money. But that could certainly be a way for them to do all the things in terms of supporting the game, whether it's, adding new characters, adding new tracks, adding new things for you to discover. They can do all of that within that structure. And I do think there's lots of different opportunities for them. Like they can do that kind of bigger update. They can do smaller updates like adding more battle modes. They can do, they can do so much. I mean, they can really start to nickel and dime us if they wanted to. More costumes cost more money. This could be like the mobile game, like the Infinity Nikki model.
I don't think they'll do that.
We'll see.
Oh no.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will, but they could. They could.
I have a secret surprise question that I didn't write down here. Do you think there's a secret surprise in this game that we do not know about yet?
I was thinking that for a while. I do think there's something going on in that free roam mode that just feels like they're holding something back from us on that. So that's why I'm very
like what?
I don't know. Maybe there's like something.
How big are you thinking?
What if there is like almost like a boss battle kind of thing in the free roam mode where like you see like a big enemy that you have to take down as a group together.
Oh, a raid, a Mario Kart raid.
Yeah, or like in Pokemon, those Giga. What is it called? Giga raids? Is that what it's called? I don't know. There's something there in the free roam mode where they want you to discover. They want you to drive around. And the things that they've been talking about so far seem pretty like minor, like get a coin, hit a P block, do a puzzle. But I don't know, I feel like there's something else in that mode.
Well, even beyond like big things like that, like it is a good place to do just sort of like flash limited time events.
Yeah.
Like, for this week, there's find the 10 hidden whatevers before they disappear and get a special costume or something like that.
Exactly.
Like I actually kind of hope that they do that.
Yeah.
So beyond like the big splashy stuff,
right?
Just little.
Can they give us a Switch 2
keep
shirt?
People bringing back. That's for Zelda, unfortunately.
Can we do that in this game? Can Mario?
Has anybody asked that question? Hold on. I'm not talking about Mario Kart anymore. Has anybody asked the question of in the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild? Is Link going to be wearing a Switch 2 shirt? What shirt is Link going to be wearing? That's an iconic, but stupid thing that you can get in that game.
I would like to have a Switch 2 shirt. That would be cool.
People were mad about the DLC not involved. I might be mad if I don't get a Switch 2 shirt in that.
Does he look good naked in HD? 4K?
We need Jason Schreier to ask that question.
Takedowns.
You'll hear back in approximately 4 weeks after the game is out. And people already know.
You're going to mine that game for a Switch 2 shirt.
Before we wrap up,
what do you think there's a surprise?
Not right now. No.
You don't think there's anything else?
No, I think
left?
it is. I think it is what it is. Well, we don't even know what some of this stuff is. What they've already told us. Oh. It's just like a one-line thing in the direct. We don't have a clue what that is.
Okay.
I think there will be just enough. I think this is the theme of this whole generation. Just enough. It's just enough to tide you over for now.
How boring.
That's what we're getting in directs. You're going to get just enough. Well, how much in the game? Just enough until we have the new DLC. It's going to be just enough.
For you to pay some more money
for you to pay $80.
For DLC?
No, just for the game. It's just enough to get you over that hump.
Man. I sure hope that's not what it is. Because that's quite boring.
Everything is just enough. That's the generation.
Wow.
That's the theme of this generation.
Instead of all together, everywhere, anywhere, it's just enough. That's the tagline.
1 to 10, how hyped are you?
8.
Oh, that's where I am too. I actually thought I thought I was closer to a 7 until I did this whole thing of digging up all this information. I was like, no, there's actually a lot more here.
No, this is gonna be fun.
That I'm excited about. So I'm bumping myself up to an 8.
I hope I just don't disappoint myself.
Hype yourself too much?
Yeah.
Well, you're only at an 8. I mean, you're not even at a 9 or a 10. So
I'm not even like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess I can gas myself up more.
Maybe don't.
In the 2 weeks
Maybe
leading
don't.
up to it.
We asked our Patreon subscribers how they are feeling about the game, and we did a poll. 49% of people said the game is the main reason I'm getting a Switch 2 on June 5th. I am hyped. 33% said I'm getting a Switch 2 in the game, but I feel a bit underwhelmed by what I have seen. 15% said, I'm not getting a Switch 2, moot point. And then 4% said, I'm getting a Switch 2, but I'm skipping Mario Kart World. Shout out to that 4%.
Yes.
Standing by their principles.
Well, maybe they're not huge fans of Mario Kart. You don't have to get it. You can buy another game.
So here we've just confirmed a 96% attach rate for Mario Kart World.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not even counting the people not getting a Switch 2, so it's higher than that. If you delete that 15%, my gosh. Send that get analysts. Get the analyst headline. Former Nintendo employees predict 99% attach rate. Analysts.
Add the 3 numbers together.
Drew Hunter says, I chose the underwhelmed option, but it's more like I'm whelmed. I think there are still some aspects of the game that Nintendo is holding back to truly wow us come June 5th. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was and still is such an amazing game, so World definitely has big shoes to fill. Left Hand Concerto says, I might be part of the problem, but I'm getting the game on blind faith that it contains hidden layers and experiences that Nintendo hasn't shown in the trailers or the Direct. With these big titles, they almost never reveal their full hand ahead of release, which I appreciate.
True.
Something else to consider, when Switch 1 came out, Zelda being the launch title meant I skipped Mario Kart the following month because I still had so much to do in Zelda, and at the time, another game wasn't in my budget. Mario Kart, as a mostly iterative franchise until now, is seen as skippable or low-priority game for some gamer demographics. Releasing it as a launch title guarantees more people are going to buy it, if only for lack of other first-party options. Interesting thinking there.
Yes.
And that's 2 people who are in your camp of there's
something
else. There's something else.
What else is there?
And then finally, Nintendo64 says, I was kind of meh in Mario Kart World until I got to try Knockout Mode at the Dallas Nintendo Switch 2 Experience event. The footage is one thing, but racing 23 other live racers at the same time ups the stakes beyond any Mario Kart experience I have had. I think this is the thing that will ultimately drive, people to make this game even more enormous than it would normally be.
Okay, so a vote for the Knockout Tour.
Right.
Knockout Mode, yes.
Right. Well, that puts a capper on our Mario Kart World discussion. Again, just 2 more weeks until we're going to be playing it ourselves, but very interesting stuff here.
I can't wait to see what actually happens. We're definitely going to be doing videos once we've gotten a chance to really dig into Mario Kart World on our honest thoughts of how we feel about the game. So you can all look forward to that, and maybe we'll answer some of these questions. Maybe we'll come away with more hype, or more disappointment, or more happiness. We'll see. That's the beauty of this.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the games we are playing. It's kind of a lighter list this week since you have been wrapping up Clair Obscur.
Yes.
I finished Clair Obscur. Why don't we just start with that real fast?
Yeah, so you did finish.
I have finished. I finished over the weekend.
Now...
I was at about 30-ish low 30 hours.
You're now deep into story explainer videos.
So now again, this will be spoiler free.
We're not going to talk about the story here.
Yes, I am watching a lot of videos kind of explaining in great detail all of the story because, again, I thought I had a pretty solid basic understanding of the story, but it's one of those things where, again, if you ask me follow-up questions, I don't really know, and I wanted to know all the details. And it is interesting, you do reach a point where the game does kind of open up, and you can you actually get the ability to fly around the world map, which is something they've shown in trailers, so that's something that people knew. And there's a lot that you can do in that world map, and it's really cool to actually navigate it in that way, to fly around. I was so motivated to go just finish the game and fight the boss, because I need to wrap up the story. I'm so locked in on this story, I need to know. But I do have a twinge of I kind of wish I had done some of that stuff, and actually watching some of those videos, there is some really interesting lore important things that are in there. So if you were like me and you finished the game and you just kind of beelined to that final boss at that moment where the game opens up, you might want to look back at what you missed, because it's pretty interesting if you are into the story.
I like the way that they slowly unlocked your ability to explore that full world map.
Yeah.
So they, at first, it's just you kind of walking around through the little areas that started unlocking in the beginning. And then you meet a character that gives you the ability to swim. And you're able to explore a little bit more. And then, yes, then you get the ability to fly. And then you're able to explore a little bit more. And that part of it really reminded me of Tears of the Kingdom, where suddenly the sky sort of opens up.
I thought that well.
And there's a lot of these little kind of almost like sky islands for you to land on and kind of poke around and see. There was even a dragon-like character flying around.
I saw that, yeah.
I got into a fight with that character.
Oh, no.
And immediately
I saw it and got scared and turned around.
Yeah, no, I just went over for a closer look because it looked so pretty, and then it was like, you're in a fight. I was like, oh no. And then I immediately died. So
you do realize like how much of the map you had not been able to access before. It's like it's covered in clouds. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much more here.
And there's a lot of verticality. Like there's areas where you could really fly up.
Right,
like there's like big towers or big spirals and things like that. So I did a little bit of exploring when I got that ability. But I am like you, where I'm like so interested to know what is going on and how the story is going to wrap up, that I am also very much motivated to like finish the game for that reason. But it definitely is like more exploration than I anticipated. Because at first you're like, okay, I'm in these areas. You kind of like, as you go into different areas, that they're kind of contained areas. It is a bit linear in terms of like the direction you're going, getting from point A to point B. And then they do have this big world map that, you know, it's not like open world, but with these sort of abilities to traverse it, you're like, oh, there's like a lot more exploration than I realized, even though some of these areas are more like you go through a portal and you're kind of contained to that area. So, yeah, I am very interested in what the ending is going to be.
It's going to be a good spoiler cast.
Yes, it's going to be a really good spoiler cast.
Right after that, I picked up Dune: The Dark Ages, so a bit of a tonal shift.
Wow.
From Clair Obscur to Dune. And so my history with these modern Dune games, I played the 2016 version. I played that twice. I played that on PlayStation 4 when it first came out, and on the Switch. I really like the Switch version of that, kind of as limited as it was. I thought that was a cool project to see like how you could cram that game on a Switch. I bought Doom Eternal, but I never played it, because remember, that game came out the same day as Animal Crossing, and I just got so sucked into Animal Crossing. And also, that game doesn't have the best reputation. A lot of people have said, like, oh, this is a pretty big step down, like they tried some things that just didn't work that well, so I never really felt motivated to go back to it, but I do have it. So that's kind of where I am with these more modern Doom games. This game, I was mentioning this to you, I kind of like have moments of vacillation between thinking like, oh my gosh, this game is incredible, I love this game, and then I swing over to like, this game is a total train wreck. So it's kind of like all sides of the spectrum for this game, but at the same time, like I really have a hard time putting it down. So I think those train wreck moments are
overshadowed,
fleeting enough that they are not getting in the way of things for me. I did, and again, maybe this is because I skipped Doom Eternal, like just kind of the presentation of the game, the look of the game, the feel of the world feels very different to me from Doom 2016, where you're on Mars, you're on the like space, science colony or whatever.
Yeah, this is like kind of like medieval, medieval. You said Dune was a comparison.
So I had a really so I admit now, this was really dumb on my part. When I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh, it's going back in time, but it's still vaguely on Earth. Like, oh, it's a castle, but oh, there's a dragon because it got summoned, it's a demon dragon, whatever. I still thought it was on Earth, stupidly. It's not.
It's obviously
It's on some other planet.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not invested in the lore of this, so I don't really, there's only so much that I can care.
With
the aesthetic, yes. So I would describe it as Dune, D-U-N-E, the movie, meets Mortal Kombat. Because you're on planets, it has that kind of scale of like, there's like old meets new, like some of the people have swords and stuff, but some guys have guns, but they're in like old school suits of armor. That's like Dune has that feel to it.
Yeah.
It's like old sci-fi. with the aesthetic of Mortal Kombat, which if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's like it's very like 13-year-old, like wrote it on the back of his notebook, kind of stuff. Like
the shield has spikes on it.
It's a little,
also a chainsaw.
It's a little cheesy, but it's also like no,
that's what Doom is, though.
This is a very well-defined aesthetic.
Yeah.
So
this is the brand of Doom,
right? But it was a little bit different and maybe more cartoony than I remember Doom 2016 being.
Okay.
Which maybe felt just a bit more
realistic.
I wouldn't say realistic, but like
realistic.
It had a bit more of a realistic presentation, even though it was not a realistic game.
Yeah.
In any way.
Is it funny? Is it humorous?
No, not super humorous. I would say,
Too
like,
bad.
it might have a few things here and there that are like a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's obviously not taking itself super seriously either.
Okay.
Like, so, like, one of the weapons are pretty fun, actually.
Yeah.
And I think I've unlocked, at this point, most of them. I think I played like 6 or 7 hours. One of them is this contraption where the ammunition is a skull, and you jam it in, and it turns the skulls into shrapnel. It's like that's like a shotgun. It's just like shooting out, and then you
like
and
bone parts.
It looks like a grinder thing, and then you jam in another one.
That's kind of
You're
cool.
shooting them out.
Yeah, they showed a lot of like medieval looking weapons, like a mace.
So the main thing is you have this shield.
Right,
And,
the
shield.
And
this is where the game plays super differently from the other ones, because a lot of the gameplay is based around the shield. And you get the shield right away, and you can do, like, kind of the most basic moves. You use this like shield bash, where you just lock onto a guy and you press a button, and he's like, boom, he just like goes. And you can do this from a guy that's like really far away.
Oh.
It does have a bit of a cooldown though, but it's pretty powerful. And then later on, you get the ability to, like, Captain America throw
the shield, okay.
which is cool. But they have some interesting gameplay mechanics around that, where it's like you need to shoot at a guy to weaken his armor, and then you throw the shield to break the armor.
Oh, okay.
Or they use it for some platforming where you throw it into a part of the wall, and then you can
use it as
it can summon you back to it.
Oh.
I will say, you know, like in God of War, when you throw the axe and it comes back, that feels like super good.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel quite as good. Oh. I think that was a missed opportunity for them.
They need heft.
To go a little bit.
You need to have the feel, the weight of it.
Right, for something you're doing like a million times. Like
especially a very heavy shield.
Yeah, they could have made that feel a little bit better. So it is much more melee, close combat oriented. Like, at a minimum, you are using both of them together. But there are times where you're much closer in. The enemies themselves, I don't know. So they had the glory kills in the original game that were this cool thing. Those have been scaled down, and this is one of my on the train wreck spectrum, where it's like there are finishing moves, but like in Mortal Kombat fashion, when you do it, they explode into like 9 rib cages. It just doesn't look very cool or very good, whereas like those glory kills were like really cool. And it's something like you have to do it a lot. Like this is how you replenish your life. This is how you replenish your ammo. And it just doesn't feel like super satisfying. So there's some things about it that are doing really good. Like just the normal shooting though. It's like, this is great. I like this. I like all the weapons. But again, just these small details they did not completely nail, I would say.
Okay.
They also made a big deal about, well, we're not doing multiplayer because we put these new types of modes in. And they talked about a mech. So you're basically in a Doom Gundam.
Okay.
That actually looks really cool. And a Doom Dragon.
I like that.
You can ride around in.
Oh.
So I did both of those. I did a level in both of those. I'm assuming there's more. The Gundam is pretty cool. It's like first person, you're inside of it. It feels very, what's that movie? Pacific Rim?
Yes.
It's very much like that. And there's some guys you have to punch, there's some guys you get a gun, you feel really powerful. That's pretty cool. That level was not super long, and I don't think it should be, because it's kind of a change of pace. The dragon I kind of didn't like, unfortunately.
Why?
It just didn't move right. The way
Did it fly?
It flies. But the way it flies didn't feel great.
Not like Split Fiction dragons.
No, it didn't. It didn't feel like a dragon at all. It kind of felt, because there are times where you can just have it hover completely still in the air. It's like a dragon is like moving around. You know,
it's alive.
It's always flapping around.
Yeah.
this, I don't know, there's just something about the feeling and the movement of it that felt off.
Is it a mechanical dragon?
No, it's a real dragon. It's kind of complicated what it is. It has like, it doesn't actually have wings. It has like, it's wearing this harness that creates wings. So it's kind of, and it has jets on it like a plane.
What?
I don't know. This dragon,
That's weird.
This dragon is maybe not it, is what I'm saying here.
That's too bad.
And the dragon combat is it's based on very dodge heavy versus this game you should be attacking more on the offensive, but it's like you're meant to be playing more defensively. So I just kind of didn't like the dragon.
Oh,
there was one level that had a lot of potential where you're in this big area and it's like, you need to fly to these 3 ships, weaken them, and then you can land your dragon and get off and blow them up. That in itself was pretty cool, but then you get on the dragon and it's like, the next one's over here, but there was a lot of invisible walls of like, you can't go this way, no, don't do this way, you need to turn around. It's like,
well, what's the point of having this thing that can fly and roam around?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I only did one of these dragon levels. Maybe there's another one later that is better, but I'd rather just be around stomping people and throwing a shield in their face. So, but again, despite these issues, like I'm having a pretty fun time.
Game Pass.
So, yes, Xbox Game Pass. I will continue with this. I don't think it's very long. I'll probably beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very solid.
Okay. All right.
Are you going to play this?
I think I am.
I think you should at least try it.
I'm going to try. I mean, it's easy to try stuff on Game Pass. So
Yeah,
I will try it.
Yeah.
I am interested still. I mean, I liked the look of it a lot when we saw it last year during the showcase. So at least.
So you did not think this was set in like medieval our Earth?
No.
Where did you think it was set?
It's just like
somewhere
another
else.
planet.
All right. Might have been cooler if it was in the actual Dark Ages.
Oh.
And you
just
show up out of nowhere
the future.
as the Doom Slayer. And all these demons just start pouring out. I think there could have been some fun things with that.
Okay.
But fine, we can do it in space too.
It's
fine.
Medieval stuff.
There's also a bad guy who talks exactly like this, which is just like, oh my gosh. Again, the Mortal Kombat aesthetic is strong.
It's gonna be the voice for Yoshi next.
Put the Doom Slayer in Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
He'd fit right. His design.
Right in.
His design now. He kind of looks like you can see through the mat. He looks like a decomposing corpse, kind of.
Ew.
He would fit right into where Mortal Kombat is now.
Not hot.
Well, you can't really see it, but
Not hot.
probably not. Decomposing.
Ew.
Get your mind out of the gutter with the Doom Slayer.
What? They could be hot.
All right, you can keep the mask on. We're moving on to the news. In our recent video, we had 5 unanswered questions for the Switch 2.
We did.
And one of those was these enhanced Switch 1 games that are getting these free updates on the Switch 2. What's up with all that? We have now found out. They have detailed what these are. We already knew the list of games, but now they've explained what's happening with each game. We have this great chart, which I pulled from Game Explain. They put this together, so thank you for that. Basically, everything falls into either resolution, frames per second, HDR, and there's a couple other games that have a couple other things.
Okay.
Thoughts on this?
I guess this is helpful.
They did put out these
Wait, I'm just trying to look at this chart.
updated images of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
I think it would have. So I found somebody who did a side-by-side of the Switch 1 and Switch 2 of basically the same scene. I think it would have been helpful for them to release it this way. They did not. They only released the updated Switch 2. And when I saw these, I was like, isn't this what it looked like before?
No, but it's a huge
But
difference.
if you do the side-by-side, it is a significant difference.
Yeah.
Like, look at, on the city one, like you can look at look at these windows on this building.
The windows.
Like you can't even see that.
Back to the
at
windows.
all.
The windows tell all.
And something else I noticed is in the Switch 2 version, the density of Pokemon is like significantly higher.
Right, like
look
this,
at
the second one with the Gyarados.
Right.
And some of the other Pokemon on the grass. Look at how many more there are.
Right, so they said, it got a resolution boost, but I mean, there seems to be something else happening where they're able to output more things
also frames,
on the screen.
FPS boost too.
Right, but I mean, if we're talking about objects that were not even there before,
that's true. Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
Oh boy!
So that's kind of the real tangible example that we have. But I think that's cool. I don't know if it's going to make me go back. I'll probably boot it up and check it out.
Look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about a lot of these games. And then again, in this other category, like Game Builder Garage is going to have mouse controls. Game share is being added for a lot of games. Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury is going to have that. Mario Odyssey is going to have game share. Most of these other games are going to have game sharing as well. So I think this is a solid start. I would love for them to be pretty proactive in doing more of these. Again, that Xenoblade.
The new drip feed.
The Xenoblade, 60 frames, resolution bump.
I'm still waiting for that to get announced.
As am I.
To go back to Xenoblade.
As am I.
So that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
I would love to play an upgraded version of that on a Switch too.
I agree. We also have seen an updated design for Diddy Kong.
Yes.
Now,
okay, what do you think about this?
We were all wondering about, well, we've got the new Donkey Kong design.
Where are his teeth?
Where's Diddy Kong? And yes, they have now added teeth.
Yes.
Is one of the which some Sonic purists were slightly concerned by, knowing the history of Sonic and teeth. It's definitely a more subtle redesign than Donkey Kong got, but what do you think?
I do like the teeth. The toothless Diddy Kong was a little strange now that I look at it.
Yeah, now that you think about it, it's like, where were his teeth?
Yeah.
Was he gumming these bananas?
I guess bananas are very mushy, so you could gum it if you want. More, let's see. Other than that, the eyes look a little bit different. Different ears. And a kind of a big, a cuter, poochier belly.
Oh, yeah.
A little tubbier.
Well, his hat is different. It no longer has the Nintendo logo on it. It has like a little pin, like a DK pin on it. And that's something that I actually don't care for that, but I'm actually surprised they kept it like that for as long as they did.
That's silly.
Yeah.
I want the this
I
is
like
the
the
wrong
Nintendo
hat.
logo.
Yeah, I dislike that they took away the Nintendo logo.
But
yes,
either way,
a bit more of a subtle redesign for Diddy Kong.
What odds are you giving for Diddy Kong to be in Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Oh.
He better be in it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, high odds.
Better. Well, why? Now we have child
Baby Pauline.
Pauline.
Would you rather have Diddy Kong or Baby Pauline?
Diddy Kong.
You don't want Baby
Pauline? I
Pauline?
don't want that rock either. I want Diddy Kong.
The rock is not real.
I think it is.
It's
actually.
a rock in your head.
You have not been checking Nintendo Today daily.
No.
They've had that rock has a name.
What's his name?
Take it back. I forget.
Rocky?
The rock has a name. You better take that back.
Dwayne Johnson.
So you think Diddy Kong is going to be in?
I think so.
He better be. That's
Well,
all I'm
what if
saying.
he isn't? What are you going to do?
It's going to be bad.
What are you going to do about
It's going to be bad. You're going to find out.
Retribution?
They have also released this updated version of the artwork of all of the Mario characters. Obviously, Donkey Kong is standing out, but they did make some subtle changes to all of the others. I'll admit, though, I can't get that excited.
Peach is the one people were comparing,
Like, some
right?
people were getting really excited about this, but I'm sorry, I just can't. Because the changes are very subtle for a lot of these, and I saw the side by side. Just like a lot of like the girl characters are like bigger smiles now. It's like, okay, fine.
Mario looks less dead in the eyes. That's good.
Less what?
Dead in the eyes.
Oh, there's just denimized.
Oh,
Like
denimized.
he's still got.
He's very denimized, but not dead in the eyes.
Not dead in the eyes.
Look at his eyes. The expression looks a bit more alive. It's not like that soulless render that we make fun of all the time.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I mean, I'm sure these are all, positive changes. I just can't do the
full frame by frame zoom,
face zoom, frame by frame. It's like it's nice. It looks nice.
Daisy looks like
with
bigger
every
smile.
day that goes by, I can't believe that I ever thought that the Rare design was better.
Okay, so now you're fully on
What
board.
a fool I was.
Yeah, we need teeth.
Nintendo's in
Teeth is good.
Listen, Nintendo's in a really weird place though with with Donkey Kong, where they've got some stuff that's old, some stuff that's new. Doug Bowser today tweeted out, when you work at Nintendo for 10 years, you get a plaque that says 10, and it's got Donkey Kong's.
That plaque.
Well, you got it when that was the old design.
I know.
Doug Bowser himself got it today, and it had old Donkey Kong on it. Also today, they opened the new theme park in Orlando. Oh, look at this amazing new theme park that's immediately outdated because it has all the old Donkey Kong stuff.
It's true. Why weren't they forward looking in that though?
They knew. I don't know.
That's kind of strange because you're not future proofing yourself at all.
Make Universal foot the bill to update all that stuff. My God. Oh, by the way, we changed it all.
And they even have that costume character and everything too that they made. Why didn't they just make it with a new design?
Don't you dare use that again. That's outdated.
Because they're so protective of that kind of stuff, about being consistent and everything.
They're in a weird place.
Transition.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong transition is going in a bit of a rocky
It's a little
direction.
slow in some places.
Yeah. Huh. Did we see, when we were at the store, they had a big Donkey Kong section. Did we see any old design Donkey Kong there? I want to say no.
I mean, a lot of it, if they had artwork of the character, it was in a very like 2D stylized way.
Yeah.
It's harder to notice it then.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they're in less of a jam. The issue that the store has, we mentioned this in our video, there's like no Switch 2 anywhere. And there's a lot of giant like Nintendo Switch stuff. It's like, oh, in 2 weeks you're going to have to change this out?
I know.
How annoying for them.
They just put the store
2
together.
Weeks? Why don't you promote a Switch 2 now?
Yeah.
People were saying this is when the Switch 2 is coming out. You might as well put a sign up.
Oh, you're still
May 15th. This is when it's happening.
Oh, May 15th.
Put it up.
It's come and gone. Yeah, they have a huge display there of like a timeline of Nintendo systems.
Right. Where's the Switch 2 gonna go?
Of different Switch 2s, like OLED, light, whatever. But they don't have any. They don't even have room in that display case.
Did you see anything Switch 2 in the store?
No, nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
So, but yes, in 2 weeks they'll have to like
2 weeks later
rebuild all that.
Shut the store down so we can redecorate it.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Oh, this
last story is a curious one.
Yes.
So as I mentioned in previous episodes, Fortnite is doing this big Star Wars crossover.
Right.
And one of the latest things that they have added is this Darth Vader that you can actually talk to, and it will talk back to you. And they are using an AI version of James Earl Jones, who is the original voice of Darth Vader, who has since passed away.
Yeah.
But Disney did get the okay from the Jones family to continue using his voice for stuff like this. Obviously, Darth Vader is going to continue on.
When I die, don't let anyone use my voice, okay?
I'll be signing those rights.
Don't sign those rights.
How much?
Seriously.
Cha-ching.
No. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to allow this to happen.
So, who could have predicted this? People are trying to get the Darth Vader to do crazy things. The Darth Vader has been swearing. The Darth Vader has been saying insane things.
Oh no!
It's like, did you do any testing on this at all? Are there any guardrails at all for this? Oh my gosh!
There's no like moderation on the Darth Vader.
No, I mean they said like that they pretty immediately pushed out a fix to stop people from doing, but there's videos out there of this Darth Vader talking crazy.
Oh no!
It's ridiculous the things they got this Darth Vader to say.
Oh no!
Which again makes me ask, like, did you test this at all?
I mean, obviously they knew this was going to happen. If people are going to be doing insane, crazy things in the Miiverse, guess what? They're going to be doing some insane, crazy things.
So
with
they
Darth
say
Vader.
that they are using the Google Gemini AI, which we've used a Google Doc from time to time.
I hate that thing so much.
The Gemini is everywhere. They are pushing it down your throat. You want to try use the Gemini?
They want you to use the Gemini.
Go away. Stop, please. So this has become a controversial thing. Let's read the statement from the Jones family. They said, James Earl felt that the voice of Darth Vader was inseparable from the story of Star Wars, and he always wanted fans of all ages to continue to experience it. We hope that this collaboration with Fortnite will allow longtime fans of Darth Vader and newer generations to share in the enjoyment of this iconic character. So again, they patched it out. They said, we pushed a hot fix within 30 minutes of this happening in game. So this shouldn't happen again.
So can you still talk to Darth Vader?
I'm not sure how long
are you not able to talk to it at all?
I think you could still talk to it.
Okay, just won't say the crazy things.
It won't say
anymore.
crazy things. And they were saying also, like, if you're under 13, you weren't able to talk to it in the first place. So they're a little CYA.
But you're under 13, you're watching a video of it saying crazy stuff.
Exactly. 30 minutes was enough for the internet to be flooded with insane videos
Obviously.
of Darth Vader.
I mean, again, how did they not see this coming? That's my question.
It gets crazier.
Oh, good.
SAG-AFTRA, which is the union,
Yes.
they have filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic for its use. And they said Fortnite's signatory company chose to replicate the work of human performers with AI technology. Unfortunately, they did so without providing any notice of their intent to do this and without bargaining with us over appropriate terms. So I've seen a few people saying, well, the agreement that James Earl Jones had was with Disney, not with Fortnite. And it's like, where do you draw the line of how far? So remember, not long ago, Disney did this big collaboration with Fortnite, and I think they may also acquired some portion of Epic Games.
Right.
So they're real tight. So I think it's like, where is the line drawn if this person has the rights? It's like, well, wait, we have the rights to this IP. Do we have the same rights over this person's voice? It's getting real messy.
Yeah.
This is like a really interesting case study of how does this work.
And there has been so much in the way of like negativity, those strikes that have been happening in the last years around
AI.
the terms around AI and what you can do with AI with actors, especially voice actors. So it's all very sensitive too in terms of like what kind of precedent does this set? Like, it's just messy for sure and unfortunate. But
it's just ridiculous.
But also you should have seen this coming, you idiots.
Yeah.
Is my conclusion.
Amazing lack of forethought.
Obviously, no one in the room raised their hand and said, "Hey, I have some questions. Do you think that we should be doing some testing / do you think people are going to take
Mario
this
and Fortnite though? Can we get Charles Martinet to come out of retirement and say some bad words?
You don't even
in
need
a Fortnite.
You can just train on his voice and then it can just say bad words on its own.
Exactly.
That's the thing with the AI stuff.
Exactly.
The large language model of curse words.
Oh.
Great.
A lot of those.
There's
a lot of those. That's the news. Let's move on to
Wow.
questions from our community. We always get them from our Patreon subscribers. Check us out at patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. Let's start with one from Stephen Cheney. How were game and hardware announcements handled inside NOA? Was it very matter of fact, like listed on a meeting agenda? Was there any pomp and circumstance? Did they tease y'all a bit or hint or have y'all guess? Were there any bingos or office pools? Were they revealed to y'all at regular intervals or was it a random Tuesday? Were there meeting agendas that said goofy things like new unrevealed platformer number 2? Were there color codes for games that hadn't yet been revealed, or did y'all have to keep track of a lot? Please excuse the y'alls, I'm in San Antonio.
Y'all!
I love that.
I love that. Yeah. So there were code names for games that are unannounced, and so that was usually how we learned about something, was like code name such and such, and then you would like go into a meeting and it would be here's this game. There wasn't a lot of pomp and circumstance or anything like that. It was kind of like, here's the marketing, rollout calendar.
Here's what you need to know.
Here's when these games are going to probably launch in these months.
Very matter of fact.
Yes, very matter of, and then it's sort of a task of like each department will go back and divide up who's going to lead each game. There's always like a subcommittee that will kind of spring up around bigger games. Like you headed up the big like marketing committee for Breath of the Wild. I did it for Smash Ultimate. So for bigger AAA games, there were always like kind of a bigger group that gets spun up to lead the marketing efforts for it. But very matter of fact, there's definitely no like fun to be had. It was very like, here are all the code names. If you were approved to be disclosed on what this game was, here's the meeting to attend to get the information about what this game is and get the lowdown on like what the features are and what makes it unique and different and fun. And then kind of off to the races to do like marketing strategy and the beginning works of like how to map out what we're doing from a marketing perspective as as we prepare to launch that game. And usually that happened 3 to 4 months before a game came out. We had a pretty tight turnaround in terms of marketing a game. So it was always a crazy rush. Learn about the game, get going, start working, no time for fun, do it right now. And then you can move on to the next game, pretty much.
Occasionally, and I do mean occasionally, when there was really something big, and typically it was a new hardware, Reggie or Doug would send out an email to the whole company, or it would be on the intranet where you go to get
the employee
news.
Page.
You'd be like, oh, today we reveal...
Message from Doug Bowser.
Yeah, message from Doug Bowser. Today we reveal the new blah, 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 and here's what it means for us, and please maintain the confidentiality. There's always one of those.
Yeah, be careful. We want to maintain the element of surprise.
Because that is a big thing that the whole company needs to rally around, but it was so rare. Usually it was just if you're working on it, great, here's what you need to know. If not, don't worry about it, and don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. It unfortunately, it wasn't it got to a point where it was so numbing of the
right.
We used to call it the campaign treadmill.
Yes.
Because you just go from one game to the next and you never get off the treadmill. That it became not special at all. You were just what's the next
Unfortunately,
game? What's the next game?
Yeah.
I'm a drone, what's the next game? And it wasn't fun at all. So that's why it's really fun to not have to do that anymore and just be here and actually get excited. I bet you anything, the people that had to work on Mario Kart World are so sick of it. They've been working on this game. They're I don't care about this at all. This sucks. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I cannot do any more meetings on this stupid game. I don't care if it's a cow or if it's a whatever else. I'm just tired.
Do not ask me about a Parabitty Buddy.
Don't ask me about any of these stupid characters anymore. I don't care. I don't want to answer any more questions. I don't want to see this game anymore. I bet you anything that's how they're feeling. Because they're in it, and then they have to move on to then they're I gotta go work on Donkey Kong now because I'm done with this game. Next. And it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all.
Cam4 is the next question. Seeing that we are only a few weeks away from the launch of Switch 2, how long before IGN, The Washington Post, etc. get a Switch 2, and when do you think the embargo will be lifted for them to talk about it? So...
Ooh, you did!
We found out... I did what?
You did a Patreon exclusive video.
Oh, that's right, I did, yes.
That was very interesting.
Right, so it was... The game business wrote a whole story about how they had been hearing from other outlets that Nintendo is not sending out many of these, and if they are, they're going out pretty late in terms of review systems. Hardware, yes. So don't expect, all the outlets out there to have one, but I still think we can, speculate about how late can they give it to them, and what would a good embargo time be?
Look at that.
So the thing comes out on June 5th.
Yeah.
So Nintendo will send you the system.
Right.
And, Mario, here's your code for Mario Kart, here's your code for Welcome Tour, here's your codes for your Switch 2 editions.
Yep.
But the moment that happens, those same people are going to get flooded with, hey, I'm here with CD Projekt Red, here's your Cyberpunk. Hey, hey, I'm here for Marvelous, here's your Rune Factory. Hey, I'm Capcom, here's this game key card, and so on.
Yeah.
So 20 plus games on the launch lineup, it's just not possible for them to cover all of
I don't think that they're really going to send anything out until the week of the 26th.
That article, the game business article, also mentioned that they had heard that there's one last big event for Mario Kart.
That's true.
Happening
a preview event for Mario Kart.
To kind of be a catch-all, because it's you're not going to get a system.
That's probably going to be the week of the 26th.
That'll probably be next week. So come play this game. All the media are at Universal today, so they're not at some Nintendo event. When I saw that people were traveling, I was like, oh, is this the Mario Kart event? No, they were all going to Orlando.
So it's also a long weekend.
Yes.
Memorial Day is the 26th.
Why bother at this point?
Just forget it.
Why bother?
Just go back to bed, everyone. Forget it. We'll wake up on June 5th, right? Call me when it's June 5th.
Yeah, it could be next Tuesday.
Wednesday, Thursday could be when that event happens. I feel like the Switch hardware embargo is going to be the week of launch. Quite literally.
What if they did a thing where it's like, once you get it, there is no embargo.
Right.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not great for them either because...
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, it's like, well, UPS delivers to me at 10 a.m., UPS delivers for you at 9 p.m. the same day.
I know.
So now I'm just at a disadvantage.
And we were talking about all these people who are going to be at Summer Game Fest, too.
Yeah.
So the schedule for the next
It's a mess for them.
couple of weeks...
This is why we're not going.
Yes. With the holiday, with Nintendo kind of withholding systems till very late, with all the third-party games that are coming out, yeah, it's going to be tough for media to like get reviews out there, thorough reviews out there. So it's probably something that you can't rely on if you were like waiting for some kind of review to convince you whether or not to do something. Like you may not get that kind of independent thought.
But that video was very instructive. We got a lot of people saying, I don't care.
Yes.
I've seen enough information. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
I don't like the way that some of the media have been covering this thing. Some people feel like there's been some misleading coverage. So it seems that for a lot of people...
They have already made a decision.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting feedback to get on that video. But it's definitely a little bit different than how they've done it in the past.
I just think that you need to give people a chance to share an opinion that is not from within the company.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the...
Those are all the people that went to the Switch 2 hands-on events.
Okay.
We just, in this very episode, we had a lot of people saying, I went to this and this game was great. What more do you need? The people have spoken, Krysta.
Okay. I mean, I guess so, but I just feel like we need like independent opinions for us to have a balanced view of everything.
Is that opinion an IGN 7 out of 10?
It's probably be 7 out of 10.
Rubber stamp it, 7 out of 10.
Just get it now. You don't even need the system. Just put the hardware review out right
They
now.
should make that into a shirt. They should just own that and make it into a shirt.
They
IGN
should.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
I might buy that, actually.
That'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Next question's from Lycan. Hey, Kit and Krysta, it's my first time writing in. That's cool.
Hello.
I remember recently a story about a fan that was sick around the time of E3 2018 and was able to play Smash Ultimate at his home for a while with his friends. I was curious how difficult that was to make happen, and did either of you have involvement in making it happen? I remember feeling so happy for him being able to have that experience in such a bad time. Thanks, I love the pod.
Yeah, Nintendo has done a few of these things. They like to be very quiet about doing stuff like this because, they're not trying to do it and use it as a marketing opportunity. They truly, like when we used to get requests like this, it would very often come across our department's desks. Our department was also in charge of some of the other charitable stuff, like Starlight Foundation. We used to do Nintendo Minute videos every year where we would donate stuff to the Starlight Foundation.
Right.
There was a lot of involvement that Nintendo was doing behind the scenes from a charitable perspective that they just don't share publicly, and I actually really like that. So when these kinds of things, like someone has like a Make-A-Wish or something like that, comes through, like I truly am not exaggerating when I say everybody in the company tries to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like it truly is like a thing that if we can do it, we will do it. And like oftentimes it involves, NCL to approve things and the developers to get on board, which is exactly what happened in this instance with Smash. This I remember this happening with Animal Crossing as well. And almost, I want to say like 99.99999% of the time, everybody is supportive, is on board to make something like this happen if we're able to.
Yes.
And it's awesome. Like if we can, the company definitely has that sense of like if we can bring just a little bit of joy to somebody in a time where it's really terrible and just, if we can help in any small way, we will do it.
Yeah, you do have to give the company a lot of credit for this.
Yeah.
I mean, these are people who have like terminal illnesses.
Right. Serious stuff.
And oftentimes it was producer Hannah who would be kind of our team's contact for doing that. And she would just come back from these like in tears, like, I can't believe like this amazing thing that we were able to do. And that's where it's like, oh yeah, this company does really like live up to its ethos.
Yes.
So it is a pretty special thing
It is.
for them to be able to do.
Yeah, and again, like everybody anybody that touches a project like that is doing their best to make it happen, and it's always like a really nice
and all the red tape that we had for other things just
it fades
flies
away.
out the window.
Yeah, it's really great.
Sort of Sora has another question. Did you ever see those chalkboard-style lists created in a semi-mocking tone to illustrate the futility of insert big thing here will save the Wii U? Did or do you believe that a single game, or being more generous, a handful of games, could shift the sales trajectory or popularity of a console? This seems to be what Reggie was telling gaming sites like IGN, saying unique, compelling experiences are what drive a platform forward. And you do that through the software that's created. What we're now seeing with Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers, we believe that the system has very good momentum going forward. In PR speak, what does, quote, momentum really refer to here? Quality of titles, tighter release schedule, software selling hardware. And on this chalkboard, if you can't see it, it has crossed out. Mario will save the Wii U, Zombie U will save the Wii U, Virtual Console will save the Wii U, E3 Nintendo Direct will save the Wii U, Ubisoft will save the Wii U, Pikmin 3 will save the Wii U, Wonderful 101, and so on. It just continues on and on. And it turned out nothing would save the Wii U.
Yeah. There was this sense of like the next Nintendo does this a lot, and you actually saw it during the Switch 2, drama a little bit, where they're like, okay, the next thing will turn the tide. Mm-hmm. Like Treehouse Live will turn the tide of the price drop controversy.
Right.
Okay, these interviews will turn the tide of these negative comments we're getting. And when we were within the company working on Wii U, there was the sense of like, oh, this is not going well. People are very confused about this product. Like, we don't have the quote killer app for it yet. We don't have like the thing that people are like, I'm going to buy a Wii U for blank game. And there was this sense, and Reggie, very expertly says this during an interview, like there is a sense of like the next thing will be the thing that we need to turn the tide. And when he says momentum, I think that's what he means. Is like, are we finally getting some positive, the tide turning in a positive direction? It never really quite completely turned. It was very much a too little, too late kind of situation for the Wii U, even though late stage in the Wii U got some great games, and that all thankfully got a great second life on Switch. But it was that situation where you're kind of desperate, honestly, when you're inside the company. You're like just latching on to that next thing that you think will make it better. And sometimes that could be Nintendo's like downfall too. Like they're always waiting for that next thing.
Yeah.
And again, we saw this literally happen in those couple days, a week of where Switch 2 was facing a lot of challenges, a lot of negativity. It's like, what's the next thing they've convinced themselves that will actually, help them? Whereas they should be doing something to help themselves.
I think the example of that is the 3DS price cut, which happened, I think within a year and was truly drastic. I just don't think there's only so many times you can do that before people start to ask questions of like,
well, what are you doing?
Are you doing anything right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very
I think in this case, you kind of had to like bear it in some sense. But yeah, it's true that like the Wii U is such an interesting system where the software is great, and we've seen that now that it's on Switch, it's got such a great new audience. There's just something fundamental about the hardware proposition and the way that it was positioned,
introduced,
and conveyed.
Yeah.
Just never let it get off the ground. So it's pretty unique to all Nintendo systems in that regard.
Yeah.
It's kind of never had a chance.
Yeah, and it's like everything we did was too little, too late. Yeah. Like inside while you're doing it, you're like, I can't stop. I have to do something. So let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And you can really, it's a very like telling thing. So yeah, we will see in the Switch 2 era if there's any sort of challenges like this, what Nintendo does. What is their next thing? What is their next move? If they are faced with any challenges with this.
Last question is from the T-Man. Or should I say the T-Man?
The T-Man?
To be consistent. With a Nintendo store officially opened in San Francisco, we now have Nintendo stores in San Francisco, New York, and Japan. Which Nintendo store is your favorite from your time at Nintendo and currently as a content creator? And which Nintendo store experience was your favorite? Happy early birthday to Krysta.
Thank you.
No longer early, but at the time it was.
At the time it was. I still...
Rank the stores.
Ooh, we've been to a lot of them, huh? I still think the Kyoto store is my...
Number one?
Is my number one. It does feel special that it's like the flagship headquarters store. And there was so many things in there that was like made in Kyoto by the artisans of Kyoto, and especially things that you got suckered into buying.
I learned that after I looked at my receipt without looking closely at the price tag.
I know!
Like, wait, this was how much?
You were like, wait, how much did I spend on a tote bag? I'm like, you didn't know that? I thought you knew.
It was like over $100.
It was over $200 actually.
Really?
Yes, it was like $215.
No.
You better be careful. Don't put anything that could
that's
spill.
That's a heck of a tote bag, let me tell you.
That could spill in that tote bag. You're gonna get it dirty.
I wanted to do that.
It's really nice.
A lesson was learned that day.
It's called look before you
look
buy.
at the price tag.
Yeah. So that one is probably my favorite.
I'm going to say Nintendo New York is at the bottom right now. I'm going to put it at the bottom.
They are making some changes.
It's in need of an update.
A little facelift.
But it sounds like that update is coming soon, which is good.
They just need better products.
Yeah, they need products that are on par. I love all of the unique New York stuff that they have, and hopefully they keep that, but the rest of the stuff is not at the level of these other stores, and you feel that in comparison now that it's the only one that is not in that style.
I will say the Tokyo store is a little bit, I mean, I think it's cool, and I like the little outdoor sculpture thing that they have.
Well, Kyoto had a sculpture too that was cool.
They did. That's why I like that store too. But the Tokyo store is kind of closer to the bottom for me because it is in such a madhouse.
But what if you could go like by yourself, or like at a time where it was very low traffic?
The thing about that store is that like this might be also a little bit of a like a disparaging take on this is like they're in that like on that floor of that mall, right? Where it's the Capcom
branded
store,
stores,
the Pokemon store, and then there's a Square Enix store.
And the sad little Koei Tecmo store
and
that's
there's
in
a
the
little
corner.
Koei Tecmo
with
store.
no Dynasty Warriors merch at all.
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh no. But it kind of makes the Nintendo store feel less special. Because it's like you're just on the nerd floor with all the rest of these stores, and like you do have like a spectacle with the Pokemon store, and the Capcom store is also like they have their own like statues and.
That's a good point.
So it doesn't feel like as like special somehow.
So we have
Kyoto's at the top.
Kyoto 1. Is Tokyo number 2?
No.
What is number 2? We have not been to the Osaka store, we should say. There's one in
haven't.
Osaka we've not been to.
I'm going to say San Francisco's number 2.
I wouldn't argue with that.
For reasons that are
and again,
because I live here.
I'm very surprised at that ranking. Because again, I thought it was going to be a more ho-hum than it is.
Right. I thought it was great. And also it's next to us. So that's
and everybody was saying like, oh, it's a little small. Like, I didn't think it was small at all.
There was a lot of people in there and I felt like it was fine.
I thought it was completely fine.
We were surprised by the Pokemon, the Kirby section as well. We were like, oh, this is pretty robust.
I feel like there is some like wasted space in the New York store.
Because the stairwell?
There's space that is not, like when you walk in, there's just like a lot of nothing. And it's like, oh, that's cool. There's that plaque on the floor.
The elevator,
there's usually something that's like in glass there. Yeah, there's the elevator. I just feel like they're
Mario's shoes.
Taking as much advantage, which you saw, of all the space in the way that
yeah,
some
they
of
maybe
the
have to rejigger.
Yeah, I can get on board with Kyoto.
Okay, so Kyoto, San Francisco.
Then Tokyo.
Then New York.
Then New York.
Yeah, we haven't been to Osaka, obviously. So they have 4 now. By the end of this year, they will have the Fukuoka store, and so they'll have 4 in Japan, and then 2 in the States,
and 0 in Europe. We're going to keep repeating that. Okay, what is your dream city to get a European?
Paris. Obviously, duh.
The great cities of Europe. There are many.
London.
Rome.
Milan.
We're just going to start listing cities now. Bring out
Barcelona.
Bring out the globe.
Oh, you have to say Barcelona.
Thank you to everybody who sent in a question. That's all of them. And don't forget to subscribe to us at patreon.com/KitandKrysta, where you got so much amazing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler cast, gameplay videos, exclusive videos, early access, so many more things that I'm not even mentioning.
We were gossiping in our behind the scenes this week.
Oh, about what?
About stuff that we can't talk about here.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
About things that we were doing at the store. We were spilling some tea. There were some stories. that
I'll
are
have to
not
go back and watch that again.
that are not fit for the public consumption of this podcast, but
I deleted those from my memory
can be
banks.
trusted with a
Good.
lovely, controlled group of
Yes,
Patreon members.
yes. Indeed.
Yeah. We're on socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And if you're listening on audio, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can also subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, and leave us a written review. Any of those things make a big difference for us.
Almost 95,000.
The road to 100K.
It's
You need to
happening.
make a little graphic with like a little windy road.
Oh, the windy road.
You should do that.
Do we need to color in the thing again?
You love
Color in the thing? We did that before.
that. A thermometer.
A thermometer.
Whatever you want it to be. A road, a thermometer.
Come on, guys. Get us there. Build a bot. I don't know. Do something.
What? Don't get us kicked off this platform before we even get there. Jeez.
Oh, boy. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your wife. Tell your kids.
Yes.
Do all the things. All right. So let's shout out some beautiful, wonderful Patreon community members, starting with Final Boss Aaron Hash.
Shout out to Aaron Hash.
We picked up a great gift
We did.
for Aaron Hash
Yes.
at the Nintendo store.
Handpicked.
I am also doing the great, wonderful, under the table task of getting.
There's nothing under the table about it.
I am now a personal shopper to our superstar tier.
Wonderful.
2 people have reached
Yeah,
out
great.
and very nicely asked
Great.
if I would go to the store and pick up a few things for them. Of course, I said yes.
Of course.
Of
How
course,
could you not?
Of course, I
Yeah.
will do this wonderful thing for our wonderful,
Yes.
supportive superstars. It's great. I love an excuse to go back there.
I can't wait to go back.
And I can't wait to spend their money and not mine. Just kidding. Pick up something a little bit for me. No, just kidding. I won't.
What?
I won't. I'll get you what
Oh, you know
had.
what? We're beyond 2 hours, which is why
is
you're
why my
saying
brain is
maniac things right now.
Superstars, though. Ben Eichhorn.
Mara Mayhem.
Eigen Verse.
Kiss my flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Right. Eschke.
Switching it up _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of Wins.
Angela Bycroft.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crashuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kunlas.
40 Gig.
Travis Torline.
Echo Ladair.
That's so Linnell.
MSM Poke Gamer.
Cameron.
R. Burns.
Igami.
Kit 10K.
And Adrian.
Welcome to our newest superstar, Adrian.
Oh, welcome. So glad to have you. All right, What Up Club? A. Ron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Allie.
Andy Peachy.
Andy Robinson.
Angel Aid.
Aristu.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Axel.
Bad at Smash.
Barnstorm.
Bates.
Ben GB.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Kvapel.
Brent Dennison.
Brian Decker.
Brovac Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Bucky Flores.
Call Sign Forte.
Cashew.
Chadir.
Chelly Squirrel.
Chris Fisher.
Crispy Saurus.
Christina.
Christopher Lay.
Cosmic Titan 718.
Captain Alex.
C. Roper 17.
Dog DeLeo.
Dallas E.
Dachshund.
Delving with Dilford.
Devi P.
Doinko.
Dre.
Eccentric Tony.
Elite Peach.
Sparts 50.
Furbound.
Fernie and Just Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Gamers Like Anime.
Garth the Wolf.
Guardtooth.
Gin Wolf.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
Iris Marin.
It's ya boy J-Ho.
Jay Rando.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jason Ball 34.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
J Wolf.
Callan CPU 57.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin Delane.
Kevin Moreno.
Kilo Kibo.
Klefki to my heart.
Christopia Party With Me.
KS3261.
Kyle Gamer Berry Rookie.
Kyle325.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle R. Smith.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Leah Rao.
Lex.
Lightwood.
Link 9898.
Low Mikey.
Finko.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luke Hayabusa.
Luna B.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Mark S.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
May plus Leon.
Michael Mazer.
Michael O'Hara.
Michael Wong.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pond.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
Mice Tran.
Nasir.
Naif E.
Nigba Reeves.
Nimbendo 64.
Ninja 11.
Noah-san.
Omega Index Card.
Pangy.
Paperboat.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Go Network.
PokeDigifan 20.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Punky.
Rain Tech.
Reckless Thomas.
Rob M.
Robbo.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Rusty Shackelford.
Ryan Haas.
Ryanetta.
Sage Gamer.
Sebastiano Garase.
Sega.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Shiny Elizabeth.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Schnozzle.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Steven Johnson.
Stephen Rockoff.
Pseudo Priest.
Symbiote Spidey.
Tales of Link.
Tandem.
Tay 120 and 64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Cakers.
The Quiet One.
The Sir O.T.
The Shark Among Men.
The Schmidt One.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Torchy.
Totally Joed.
Totamaru.
Trichowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tylander 16.
Tyler Geis.
Ditch Michter.
Viridian.
Virtualbot.
WG Grizzy.
Wicked Davy.
Zachary S.
Zelgaroth.
Zapati.
Zerling.
And Droid.
Oh boy. Did I forget people?
Oh. You did the Sega thing too. That's good.
Okay, good. I thought I missed the line, but no.
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, go. Whew. I was getting like my eyes started to blur.
2 hour rule.
It's past the 2 hour mark.
2 hour rule is a
Mushy
real
brain time.
It's a real thing.
I like bridges.
Some of these podcasts, like how do you do a podcast for 4 hours? Some
I
people
like
do
bridges.
That is next level.
Some people do a podcast for 4 hours by themselves.
Brain. Yeah, it's called AM radio.
Blah 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 blah.
Look
blah,
out for
blah.
traffic and weather. Blah 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 blah. blah.
Okay, we have to go.
Here we go.
We have to go. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.